Hello, welcome to the honest-wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. It's Monday night. It's Warhammer Age of Sigmar evening. You guys should be able to hear me. Welcome to the show. And I'm joined today by two very lovely people. Nathan, who I'm always joined by. Nathan, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great.
And we have a new special guest.
Special, yes. Special.
Very special. John, how are you? Oh my god, I hate you so much. For everyone listening to the podcast, John just mouthed hello as opposed to saying hello. Hello, John.
Hello, Rob. How are you? Sorry, listen. You know what they're like. It's a bit temperamental.
I keep trying to get one on each nopple, but you won't let me have them.
Right, okay. Welcome to the show, everyone. Something worth watching on Twitch. Well, there we go. So, as always, Monday, I just need to say thank you to everyone on everyone who subscribes on Twitch, and I got to say thank you to everyone on. I don't have to. I want to say thank you to everyone on Patreon who supports us. $10 less, Nathan, a couple of pots of paint from Games Workshop, and you're able to make our show bigger and better every month.
Yeah, that's great.
So that
you should
cool.
see him when he's wearing the pots of paint from Games Workshop. It's fantastic.
Fantastical. And obviously our other Monday show host, which I know is the only reason most of you are here, Jet the Dog.
Yay.
Yay.
I can't see him.
You can't see him yet because you're on a delay. Yeah. All right.
Mine's not even working.
Hey, there he is.
Hello, computer machine. Oh, wait. There's this thing.
On-call GM, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that, loads. Right, so, you two. Also, if you're listening on YouTube or on Twitch or the podcast, like, share, subscribe. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Thanks. Or leave some comments. I like comments. I try and reply to all of the comments. Matt Pashby, thanks for sending me a link to www.flanneleverything.com because, John, you forgot the memo to get your flannel outfit.
When was that? When was there a memo about that?
There's always a memo.
When there was a
I do have an...
We sent it from Nathan's fax machine. Did you not get it?
I did, but I might have to pop back to 95 to pick it up.
To get it. Lee Bromley, Matt Pashby, Greco, Doodad Day, Chuck and Buddy, Hook and Pin. Thank you everyone for being in the chat. Aaron Wilson, AOS. Hello everyone. So we've got lots to cover today. I'm going to quickly give you a roundup of what you're going to be listening to. So if you want to scrub through the podcast or the YouTube to get to the bit you want.
Scrub through it?
Yeah, well, it's called scrubbing.
Oh, look, I'll turn my phone off now.
if you'd like to get to that phase, Warhammer AOS, thanks for subscribing while you're here. For a year, that's top 10. That's top 10.
A year.
Yeah, a year. I'm really proud of that. Thank you.
It's good.
Hi, First Brain Squig. Nick's here. That's cool.
How long have you been going now?
We've been going for
Couple of months.
Almost a year and a half.
Oh, really? That long?
Awkward.
Well, not quite. No, a little less than that. About 14 months. 14 months is how long.
14 months. I think I've subscribed for that. Do I have to press something to subscribe?
Yeah, and you have. Well done. You've just auto-subscribed.
Is this your computer machine?
This is mine, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So, because I didn't want Rob to have control over what I was typing.
Oh no! Okay. LLV, thank you for the 10-month subscription. And Par, thank you for the 11 months. How cool's Par? What's Par making at the minute? He's still playing. He's not playing Beast. He's moved on, I think. Harrylicious, thanks for subscribing.
Still trying to find that objective, I think.
Moob says you two look like a pair of balls sat there together. I don't feel like I'm ready to start this show. So I was in London yesterday with Tim from Madhouse Magic. Big shout out Tim, and he was like so professional, was like organising it, and I was all freeform. So now I'm not like, and also got to control you two pair of idiots. So this is going to be a nightmare situation for me. Oh fuck!
What was
two laconic looks, two smiles.
It'll be fine. You haven't actually told me what I'm not allowed to do.
I haven't.
No.
Well, let's just...
Has Twitch banned the nipple yet?
Yes, there's no nipples. Thank you very much. 245 bits have been donated by Hook and Pin for Jet. So again, cut to the Jet cam. And cut back to the Jet cam.
That's great, guys, donating for Jet, but if you donate for me to do stuff, I will do the stuff.
Whatever.
I don't mind what stuff it is.
Irons 1D1 says, "Oh cool, John's on the man with the face only a mum would sit on." Lol. I don't know what that means. But I'll have to read it out. Right, okay, everyone. And also welcome to both Tristan Gray and Sanise, two of our new moderators in the Twitch channel. You should come and join us. They're also in our Discord. You should join our Discord. There's loads of healthy conversation about all the different Warhammers if you've never been in it. which is cool. And Tristan Gray's just banned a bowl.
Was he banned? Tristan, can you moderate?
Tristan's been a long time fan of the show, and we've just given him moderation status, and he's just banned somebody.
Tristan, I'm pretty sure that I've got some movement trays for you, but hang on in there because they are coming.
And Chuckabutty, we haven't made you a mod because you are one of the biggest trolls in Warhammer currently. So, yeah. Right, okay, let's get on with the show. So, if the subjects we're going to be covering today are the current Age of Sigmar news, which encompasses both the release of the pre-order, and the forward thinking of the FEC and the Skaven Battletomes. Also, the tournament roundup from this weekend, where there were 2 tournaments that I'm at least going to talk about. And obviously, John, we're going to interview you as you're a special guest. And then me and Nathan have both done a rundown. Nathan, what did you do your rundown on?
Squig hoppers.
Squig hoppers.
Nice.
Yeah. You've got no paper with you, so I'm worried. Where is your... It's in your brain.
It's all up here.
We are fucked.
It's good because I'm just at a stage where I've made some squig hoppers, but I haven't put dudes on them yet. So depending on what you say, I might go one way or the other.
You might go one way or the other. We are close together here.
Like Boing Bounders, Grot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, them
Boing Grot Bounders.
Yes.
I've learned how to say it now.
It's easy for you to say.
I've said it this weekend. Okay, so that's what we're going to be covering. John's had some questions on Twitter. I've got some questions for John. We're going to cover some hot gossip. But first off, before anything happens, Twitch chat, YouTube chat, everyone in the world, you two. I'm going to start off with you, John. John, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. I'm a little bit... You know when you're cold, but you're still sweating? I feel like that. Because it's not very warm up here.
It's not warm in the office now.
But I'm perspiring beneath my armpits.
Yeah? Okay. You okay being on the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good.
Love it. I've been on before. It's not my first time.
I know, but I'm really happy to have you here. So thank you very much for
thank you for having me.
Nathan, you? How are you?
I'm fantastic.
That's true.
Yeah. Bleeding a bit, but otherwise
You cut yourself? I cut myself on my ear earlier.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what that's for.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
Stress, I imagine.
He was just having a coffee and he started bleeding from his ear.
Couldn't find his wrist.
DeBolt, thank you for subscribing for 14 months in a row, even though Tristan Gray just banned you. The Twitch chat is, they are... this weekend I've fallen in love with most of them. I've fallen in love with them before, but this weekend they've really upped their game. They're like, because the Honest Wargamer, someone did, can I read you guys a lovely review that we had?
Yes.
Is that okay before we start anything off? Because Nathan, this is kind of counts to you as well.
It should be. I hope it says we're absolute dross, otherwise I'm not interested.
That's the only review worth leaving. This isn't just to us. This is to everyone who's been on the show and everyone in the Twitch chat, all you guys. You all make this a thing. So this is the review.
So it's probably mainly for Dan and Gemma then.
Yeah, it's from it's from Animus Zobrile. He says, I find the Honest Wargamer refreshing. Rob and his team, you're my team. Fuck. How's that feel? Represent. Also, Dirty Gobbo, thanks for stalking us. I'm not afraid of sharing their views about Games Workshop's new releases or changes to rule sets, even if it doesn't follow the party line. Big question, what's the party?
Ain't no party like that.
S Club party.
Okay, good.
Or an S Club Junior party.
Yeah.
But now that S Club Juniors are older.
Yeah, senior party. S Club Senior. S is for senior.
Tristan Gray just timed out LOV for 600 seconds. It's gone bad with power. Warhammer Weekly Tom, thank you for subscribing with Twitch. And OJ, thank you very much for the bits donation to put towards the heaters. I will update you.
For heaters? Are we getting food?
No, we're getting heaters.
Heaters.
For the warmth.
For heaters can be warm.
Yeah, they can. Thank you. The Dreadwoods has donated 100 bits for Team Imps Represent, so we're going to be talking about that in a minute.
Do you reckon Tristan will ban us in a bunch?
Yeah. Just don't mess with the Twitch chat anymore.
Has anyone sponsored me to do anything yet?
No. Right, look.
Come along.
Right, so they give honest advice to players, which is nice. And I found it very useful coming back to the hobby, in particular the Living Workbook and the faction and unit rundowns. The live streaming is going from strength to strength, and the more Rob, it's not just me that innovates, so everyone loves the soul system, so the light up system. So again, fair accreditation to Nikos for that. Around the world, the Honest Wargamer is creating a true international Warhammer community, which is lovely. And we're going to talk about that more later, John, I think. I think you've got something to talk about. Yeah,
we will talk about that. That was a lovely reference you just had.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. I once had one of those. It was from Laurie Huggett Wild.
And what did he say about you?
He said to me, John, you're not as much of a cunt as I thought you would be.
That's a glowing endorsement.
So I was very happy with that.
That's a glowing endorsement, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Nathan, you had any nice compliments this week?
They all think I'm the cunt I look after.
You're the other one. You're the other one.
You're exactly the amount of cunt, if not more, than I thought you would be.
Warhammer Weekly, Tom, I'm very excited about being your doubles partner at Adepticon. Also, if you guys have never gone and checked out Warhammer Weekly on a Wednesday on YouTube, you guys should check it out. Vince and Tom do an amazing show, and I'm a big fan of theirs. Big fan. I was watching in bed the other night, and it was like, this is cool. Just watching other people talk about Warhammer, and most importantly, they knew what the fuck they were talking about, because that's quite key. That's one of those things that I really require people to do.
So you had a good time. So what are you taking in your doubles then?
We don't know yet. We're discussing it. Okay. Dude, thanks for the 350 bits to ban Chuckle Buddy. So apparently the Twitch chat is now. They just. I'm going to ignore the Twitch chat for a while because apparently all of you are just fighting each other, which is quite fun. We're taking all the Dwardin because Warhammer Weekly Tom is a big Dwardin fan, Nate. He took mixed order Dwardin last year to I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, so it's that Tom.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
he's got some good lists. I like the list that he did on honest-wargamer with the three proper Dwardin mixed together.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
None of those shit ones that you play with. So
all right, there's no need for that. John, please stop.
I'm earning you money.
And also, please be nice to the casters, yeah. Right, okay. Twitch chat, I hope you're well. YouTube chat, I hope you're well. You guys are good. Right, let's get on with the weekend, shall we? And the news. All the news. Do you guys want to hear it?
I want to hear it. Do you want to hear it, Nathan?
No, I don't really give a fuck.
Okay.
This
is some cool news.
Yeah.
So, this weekend in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
All right. Big news. In Las Vegas, there was a big Age of Sigmar event. Do you guys know about that? You didn't know there was one on?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Age of Sigmar?
Yeah, did you know
you
there
mean
was one
40k?
On? No, Age of Sigmar was on.
No, what's that?
No. What's the
Not
game?
what's Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
What's the event?
The Las Vegas Open.
Has Age of Sigmar?
Yes. You never heard about that?
No.
They maybe should advertise it better.
I would have gone.
Well, there we go. And so what they did was quite cool. They started their tournament on the Friday. You played 6 rounds. They had 150 players. And then the top 8 qualified for a knockout tournament, which they then did on the Sunday. And then they played each other like round robin style. Well, not round robin style, knockout tournament style, like Karate Kid. And in the end, a bit of a show hero. We've talked about him before. We've mentioned him several times. Nath, do you know who won it?
Yes.
It was Mr. Bill Sousa.
That's the one.
Captain Team America.
With first edition Flesh Eater Courts.
With first edition Flesh Eater Courts. Not the new book, the old book. What do you guys think about that?
I think Americans aren't very good at AOS.
That's what I've heard.
That's what you've heard? Wow, that's just... Okay, wait.
He said it.
You heard it from John.
No, I think either that or Bill Sousa is a wizard.
He might be a wizard. Yeah, he has wizards in his army. Warhammer Weekly Tom agrees with you, Nathan. John, he agrees with you. Mr. Sousa is the man. So we've been a long time fan because this isn't a rare occurrence. Bill has actually taken that army and won 2 tournaments before, and he's got kind of a protege who he's been training up, and he also has won a tournament before. It might be Matt actually. I need to remember that. And for forgetting, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people in the world. So
he's got a protege.
What word did you say?
He's got one of them. A Padawan learner.
Speckle's amazing, especially as the UK master took the same list to Facehammer and came dead last.
The same list?
The same list.
That summoning one?
It's that summoning one, yeah.
Wow.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, well.
Kind of backs up my statement.
I mean, it does back up your statement if that...
Scientifically.
Yeah. But
no, I think that's excellent. What did everyone else have?
Well, there was loads of other stuff. Me and LV will be doing the stat show tomorrow where we're going to run through it in detail.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not 100% sure you two want the details.
No. Were there many pure fire bellies?
There were no belly. I don't think there were any Fire Belly armies, sadly.
Well, I don't know what he was playing then. What was he playing?
What
did he play in the last game?
He played Stormcast.
Wow.
Yeah, he played against Stormcast. Would you like to know the list?
Yeah. Did they have a Vexilla and 10 Retributors?
No, not the Stormcast list. That's the losers list.
Yeah.
No one cares about that. Yeah.
Well, I've tried to equate it to round 1 meta.
Yeah, so he would have won 9 games in a row with this army. So that's a big deal.
Wow, that is a big deal. Was there a cash prize
There
in
was
the
no cash
proper one?
prize.
Oh, so very much a poor cousin view from the LVO then.
Yeah, not a big fan. I imagine it looked like a side. It's always been a side thing.
Side bitch.
Yeah, but it's always been. I
think it's good that they ran it.
I think it's awesome. I went 3 years ago. I would love to go out again. 2 years ago, whenever it was. So LVO 2017, and I hung out with all the AOS guys that weekend, and they were amazing.
So it's not the first time they've run it.
No, it's third. I mean, they've always done fantasy at the LVO also, but yeah, and that group of people, they're all awesome. So they're really fun. They're kind of different a little bit to the Adepticon group, but they all kind of like it's a big trip.
Yeah,
it's a big trip. So in his army, he had Flesh Eater Courts. He had the Delusion, the Crusading army from the realm of Gur. He had a Abhorrent Ghoul King on a Terrorgeist with Majestic Horror. Another Ghoul King on a Terrorgeist with the Griffeather Charm. He had another Ghoul King on a Zombie Dragon. He then had Cryptghast Courtier with the Flayed Pennant. He had 20 Crypt Ghouls, 10 Crypt Ghouls, another 10 Crypt Ghouls, Ghoul Patrol, Chronomantic Cogs, and Geminids Vorguish. Of course he took Geminids because that's the best choice, right?
Yeah.
Agree or disagree?
Yeah, it's probably the most points efficient spell.
Yeah, it's the best. So what do you think about the fact he smashed it with the Flesh Eater Courts? Anything to say?
It's probably the Geminids that did
it. Neither of you impressed at all?
No, that's good. That was a good list. I mean, I think I played against Dan's list once, which is the same thing. All the 3 dudes summon a load of shit. Yeah, it's a good list.
Yeah.
And
FYI, once again, the UK Master took it to a tournament and came dead last.
Yeah.
Dead last.
Dead last.
Absolutely last.
Absolutely.
Got a spoon.
Yeah, he got a wooden spoon and told to leave. So
everybody got told to leave. They couldn't stay. That's nothing special.
Okay.
Don't give them special favors.
All right. Okay. So you know how you two are like a little bit out of the loop on the internet.
I wouldn't say that.
What's the internet?
Right. Okay. Good. So,
no, I know.
Have you seen the meme about Shaggy?
Well,
the singer.
It wasn't me.
No, not that. No, not that one. No. Yeah, that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I've not seen it.
No.
Okay.
I know who Shaggy is. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Shaggy meme is that actually it was him that was solving all of the crimes, really, and he was pretending to be dumb, and he only really uses a small percentage of his power to solve crimes. That's a meme that's occurred over the past couple of weeks.
That's a meme.
That's a meme.
Fuck off.
What's it relate to?
It relates to a meme. To that.
That's
show.
a rubbish meme.
It's a very funny meme.
I don't really get it.
Oh, it's rubbish. It's like a long story, and it doesn't.
If you were on the internet, it was.
I don't get it.
The pictures.
I've seen the one of the sort of frog guy who looks like really down.
No, not Pepe. No, not that one. No.
Seen that.
Right. Okay. Well,
I like the Star Wars ones. They're cool.
Okay. New show. What are our favourite memes? I'm taking my top off. I've got too hot. You've made
I
me
like that
sweaty.
one where there's 2 fat guys and one of them's giving the other one a prize and they're both like laughing like. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen that meme.
That's fucking amazing.
That's more of a Warhammer meme.
I love that one.
I've seen that. Anyway. Yes.
Anyway, Shaggy.
So that meme. So Bill's like the new Shaggy. Because he's only using like.
But it was him.
Well, no, because he's only used like 10% of the power. Because now the Flesh Eater Courts book's coming out, obviously.
What? He wasn't trying, and he still won.
That's my point. Well, he was using Flesh Eater Courts, so he wasn't even trying.
That's a damning indictment on the American scene.
Oh look, man!
Or on everybody else.
If I could have watched the games to work out what was happening, then.
Well, it's a bit like Order Draconis, but with summoning, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Order Draconis, but you can eat my shit and I'll still bring some more shit back.
Exactly.
So actually, you've not just got to kill my dragons, you've got to kill my shit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's summoning as well. Yeah, it's actually really, really good. But obviously, with the Flesh Eater Corpse book coming out, it's going to get stronger and he's going to get more powerful. So we kind of start memes on the show. I know you guys are against memes, or you like the Star Wars one.
I'm not starting any memes.
Well, but also, do you not think that we should start calling Bill the Ghoul King? Because there's no one else even doing remotely well. Oh, Matt Pashby, thanks for donating $5 to the show.
Why
Appreciate
don't we
that,
just
loads.
call him Abhorrent Bill?
Abhorrent Bill. No, I like Ghoul King more. Also, Abhorrent Bill's long.
Yeah, that's quite cool if you like calling him.
So we've already got the best dressed man in Warhammer.
Have we?
Yeah, Mr. Ben Sava. # so hot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've also got the most narrative gamer in Warhammer.
Who's that?
Laurie Huggett Wiggett. Narrative wargamer.
Okay.
No?
No.
So the Ghoul King Bill. What do you think? I dub thee the Ghoul King.
Abhorrent Bill.
You know, why do I suggest something and then you choose something else? Yeah, you fucking dick.
What about
Because I'm a dick.
Billy the King?
Hi, Alwina.
Billy Ghoul King.
Billy the Kid King.
Yeah.
Cool.
Billy the Ghoul King. What did you just say? King Bill. Is that what we're going to call him? King Bill. I'll go for King Bill.
King Bill.
Anyway, someone come up with a name and then let's start.
He has to wear a yellow jumpsuit in every tournament now.
He went. Kill Bill. Okay, all right. Billy's handsome as hell and a perfect gentleman. He's actually also a really good looking.
Is he really handsome?
Yeah.
I was speaking to
It's a bit like
Nick today.
Thompson.
Yeah.
WS10.
Yeah.
also a very handsome man.
Yeah. And he played against this build character when he came over. Played in one of the heats.
He did.
Yeah.
Nice fella. Yeah. I really liked his on-game presence, on-table presence, because I did watch some of that. So they were streaming some of the games.
Yeah.
I use that term loosely. At the weekend.
What games?
Streaming.
Okay.
Some of the games at the weekend, and you could hear, they mic'd up the players, so you could hear him, and that was nice. Like his gamesmanship was good. He was a good player.
So you can hear what he was saying.
Where were they streaming?
This is on Frontline Gaming.
The LVO streaming, not the Heat
Frontline.
Yeah.
Like the anti-flea stuff you put on your cat.
Anti-tick. Yeah.
You know that, Frontline.
Yeah.
Is it sponsored then by them or?
No, he's not. No, but he's in the American ETC team. Whether or not that causes dramas, don't stress. Hypnocracking, thanks for subscribing for a month. Everyone in the chat, thanks for being here. And then Lee Bromley makes a pretty fair assessment of the other players in the room. Okay, so big shout out to Bill. Bill's agreed to come and do an interview with me, so hopefully we'll be able to pick his brain, which is really exciting.
That's excellent.
You can go onto AOSshorts.com and you can see where his list is. It'd be really cool. There's no point in him doing a list guide on the Honest Wargamer because obviously the books come out.
It's
so
defunct.
it's
He was using a compendium.
He was using a
compendium book. Well, it might be. It might be the list for the new book as well.
I mean,
it's just far more powerful.
You can't ask for a better kind of Games Workshop are going to be sat there like, well done, Bill. Well done. During pre-order week, win with the tournament on army on pre-order. Good boy, Bill. And it's a cool army to put together. You can get the start collecting boxes pretty easy. Because it's a Ghoul King and some ghouls. So you can get that army for pretty cheap, like 200 quid, maybe 150 quid.
Small child.
I don't know what that means. That's dark. we need to. You need to shake it off, Dave.
Shake it off.
Get into the funny, right? Don't know where your brain is, but it's in a dark place.
I was listening to the failed charge. Like said, I kept on sticking little boys in my mouth or something. It was weird.
Elmbird says, fun fact: almost everything Delusion Artifact Battalion command trait that Bill used is getting hit with a nerf bat in the new book. So well done, Bill.
So he's taken all the good stuff out of the first one, and it's been nerfed. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. And then also shout out to Matt Pashby, who should have been playing in the final, but his opponent did not play the fairest. That's how we'll describe it. ATM. Yeah. Big drama over there.
What's the story behind that?
We'll talk about it on another show. That'll be, I think, the key part. Because I want to stay up with the positives. Adam Kunis. Number one, loads of the guys over there. So they did do a stream. Did you guys happen to see that? Wesley, thanks for subscribing. Did you guys see the stream that they did?
No.
Why, the LVO?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on.
For Age of Sigmar first,
Yeah,
specifically.
didn't know.
No, so it was not great, which was really sad because 150 people
Was
played.
that the blue one?
That was the blue one.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw about 5 seconds of it.
What did you think?
It was
Independent
blue.
reviewer.
It was very blue.
Yeah, and you couldn't see.
So what was that? They were like swearing or naked people or what?
No, it was like, you know, when you watch Breaking Bad, it's very orange, very red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colour
It's
correction
just
is
very
called.
blue.
Oh.
Yeah. Like there was blue. Like that colour.
Yeah.
Blue was everywhere.
Just a hue.
Yeah, it was.
Hue
Imagine
of
that.
blue.
Imagine someone put an Instagram filter on and just had made it blue.
Maybe it was the flesh eater quartz, and it was just a dark.
Well, they weren't
and
the only
deathly
army on.
mist.
I couldn't see what
Was
was
it?
on.
No, I couldn't. I also couldn't see because they had a weird camera angle where you just saw the back of someone for most of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he had a blue shirt.
No.
Yeah, we were looking at it through his shirt. Probably.
Anyway, it wasn't great, sadly, and that was real sad.
Oh.
But talking about some good streaming, and also a big shout out to Bill. Like that's, I think.
Well done,
that's-
Bill.
Well done, Bill. I hope to see him do really well. I know he's going to the ETC. He's already been over here before. It'd be nice to see him like compete internationally because he seems like a real top bloke.
Is that the AOS ETC
Yes.
thing? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Did he vote for himself in that team, or
No, I don't know.
he didn't nominate himself?
Yeah, no, I don't know how it works over there. I imagine they do some sort of like whoever can eat the most chicken wings and then shout freedom from the top of a building. Is that not how it works?
A man versus food to get in the side.
Yeah. Oh, some cute dog action. There you go. Cut to that.
What's the dog doing?
Just looking hilarious. You'll see it in 1 to 2 minutes. Right, but talking of streaming this weekend and some other news, if you guys are interested.
I thought you said talking about
And because
streaming.
Adam Kunis is in the chat, I went down to Magic Madhouse this weekend, so I did some Warhammer this weekend. I went to Magic Madhouse in some part of London, Hackney.
Kensington.
Did you get a carriage?
I did none of those things. I got the tube. I got a train in the tube. It was very nice. There was the London AOS Masters put on by Mr. Donal the Loon King himself.
Oh.
And I got invited down, so that was just lovely.
Did Donal play?
Donal did play. He also wrote in the pack that he won the game, any game he played, on a dice roll of a 2, and then he rolled it and he rolled a 1. However, he did also give himself 3 re-rolls.
Oh. So he won the event.
No, he didn't. No. But he ran the event for free, 8 people for free, which is really cool. So those are the people that have done quite well in the rankings and are based locally around him in London.
Where was it held again?
Magic Madhouse,
Oh, okay.
which is a really cool little venue that they have. And Tim, who runs it, he set up the stream, which was ace. More on that in a minute. And then, but I got there on the Saturday night, and I got Adam showed me around, which is nice. Matt Hinton. I went out for dinner with him and his lovely lady, and we hung out. John came to see me, old Scrivo. He was hammered, obviously, but came to hang out. So that was a really nice Saturday.
Came out for a few bevies.
And then I got put up by Andy. So big shout out to Andy because he just put me up for the evening so that I didn't have to get a hotel or anything. So that was super nice of him. He's a really nice bloke as well, and he's and it was really nice being
nice cuddles.
Yeah, it was. It was really nice to be put up by him again, and not put up by him. Like to see him again.
every weekend you're down there, you and Andy.
All the time.
He's always putting it up him.
Yeah, which is fine.
Randy Andy, they call him.
But
Good old Randy Andy.
he's got the best view.
I bet he
for a
has.
hobby room.
Randy Andy, he's often got a lovely
no,
view.
I'm so sorry,
He's got a
Andy.
great view
I
on
didn't
life.
mean to do this.
Oh.
I think he brought it on himself.
Anyway, he has he's in a suit the 42nd floor of some building, and it's overlooking where they did the Olympics.
Right.
Which is, and there's the Olympic statues and everything. But then he's got a floor to ceiling window, and then he's on you can see all of London and it's beautiful. And then his desk, his hobby desk, is there, and he's just painting, and it's just crazy good. I put a picture up on Twitter. And so I put a challenge out to anyone listening. I think it's the best hobby view, the hobby room for a view I've ever seen.
Did he have the similar view from other rooms in his house?
Huh? Pardon?
Did he have a similar view in other rooms in his house?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Because I would definitely have like a bath in front of it or a bed or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, he's got like other rooms with
rather than a hobby desk.
That's a pretty amazing view though. Like, but then his hobby desk is right next to it, and it was just like that. I walked in, and I was like, I think that's the coolest hobby desk ever. So, challenge is to everyone on Twitter, YouTube, anywhere in the world who's listening. If you have one, you should send us because I want to do a show like Pimp My Hobby Room, where we like do a bunch of pictures like not bad Sweden, not bad. It's a nice fjord, yeah. America, nice Dust Bowl desert or whatever you've got. Scotland, rain. England, rain. Ireland, rain. France, rain.
Cheese.
Cheese sliding down the windows.
Do you think that's a show that people would want to see?
I think so. I should definitely get some photos in of people's hobby rooms.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you do see a lot of it on Twitter, and it's like, here's my model, and there's always a keyboard in the background. Quite often a computer stack that's like got flashing lights in it. That's quite often a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like, why do people always paint over their keyboards? Like, surely that's one of the worst things you can do. Because you know the thing with the known oil, where it always falls over? Yeah. Why would you... It'll fuck your keyboard.
I agree.
And I don't believe people are taking that into account.
Not taking it seriously enough is the problem.
I should fill out a risk assessment, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of that, John? Because you're very conscious. As a TO, so this is John, by the way, if you've just joined us, this is John... Warhammer AOS on Twitter, and you're a TO for Age of Sigmar. That's how we best know you, I imagine.
It's how some people may know me. Yes.
Or also on a podcast called Bravery One.
Used to be.
And we're waiting for that to edit the new episode.
Yeah.
We keep recording loads, but just don't push the right button ever.
Elmer says, I've actually got a full new basement room for wargaming now, but the walls still require plastering. Nath, a job.
Basement's a great place.
Yeah. Don't set the Norn oil on the keyboard is the suggestion from the Twitch chat, John.
Don't what?
John T. Burns is asking if you work for Games Workshop, John.
Have I?
No, do you?
Do I fuck?
And Lofthammer also says, love you, John.
Good. Love you too, little man.
Right. So I was down in London. These 8 players played. There were some. There was obviously the infamous at this point Steve Curtis. Yeah, one of the most. He's currently in the running for the other best dressed man in Warhammer.
Is he the chap with the shaved head?
Yeah,
and facial. Yeah,
he looks like a model.
Yeah, we had. Bless him, at the last Bobo, he came over with his results, and we temporarily relocated to the other end of the hall, and I felt really sorry for him to have to walk all that way, so I gave him a fireman's lift and carried him all the way there and dropped him off.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's the service you get at Bobo.
He's quite a heavy fella, like as in muscle.
He is stocky. I did regret it halfway, but pride powered me through.
But yeah, so there was him, Matt Hinton, there's Adam Kunis who's in the chat now. Adam also gave me a lovely tour around
Hi,
London,
Adam.
so thank you very much. Really lovely of him.
Tour around where?
London.
Did he take you to the Globe?
No, he did not.
Because he's like a tour guide at the Globe.
Is he?
Yeah. That's what he does. When school trips come, he shows them around the Globe and sort of these are the seats and there's the stage. And then
He's got a great job.
That's a cool job.
It's all right, isn't it? Yeah,
that's a cool job.
It's quite good. So nice one, Adam.
So Adam was really lovely and showed me around, which was cool. Had dinner with those guys, and then went to Magic Madhouse. And what was nice was Tim had set up all the stream because he's done like years of Magic streaming, which was really cool. He set it up, and I was like, "Okay, Tim, what do you need me to do?" And he was like, "Oh, "That's fine, it's done."
Pull this lever.
And I was like, "Yeah, there was a lever," which was really cool.
Was there a lever?
Yeah, because you did so when I need to.
What did the lever do?
Well, it transitioned. So when I need to transition like this, I just press a button. But he had a lever, which was the coolest part. And he also got me a sheet transition, which was fun. So that's when you cut between 2 scenes. It's a transition.
It's all right. It seems a bit... I think a button's better, isn't it?
I think... He also said the button is better, but he liked the lever.
It's all right.
We both like the lever.
You also like the lever.
Yeah.
Good lad.
The lever was fun. So anyway, I got to do 3 games of commentating, which you can go back and watch on Magic Madhouse Twitch, which was really, really fun. I got to see some games played. And I think the big thing to say there is of the 8 players... there were 2 Blown Spitters armies, and also Jack took a mixed order shooting army. So you also saw a Daughters of Cain army, pretty much on meta, how you'd expect to see it. Steve was rocking a pretty standard, Legion of Nagash army. Donal was running his version of Bloomspike Gitz at the minute, which is cool. Matt was running a really cool Beast and Nurgle army. Really love that army, like in composition, like technical wise. So it was really nice. So while it was a really limited pool of players, the armies were quite, even the Bone Splitters armies were different because one of them had a rogue idol of a Gorkin. Came dead last. What do you think of that, Dave?
World's all upside down now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tim was really cool to do streaming with. I really enjoyed talking with him.
So did he commentate as well?
He did commentate as well. He's done. They've done one stream before, which was cool. He was really lovely to talk to. He's done loads of Magic the Gathering coverage for years, so it was really nice getting some. I got to have like a really great conversation with him where he was like saying, because obviously we're traveling around the world doing loads of coverage now.
Yeah.
And as we do more coverage, people are like, that's pretty sweet coverage.
You and Nathan.
Yeah, me and Nathan. And so people are like, I want you to do more coverage wherever we go, which is fun and great, but he was giving me kind of advice, which I was really appreciating.
So it was good working with a professional for a change.
It was good. Working with a professional for a change, yes. So Marty, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. Yeah, he was cool, and I really enjoyed it. And also, I had some really healthy conversations with a group of guys about like.
That was also for a change.
That implies you often have unhealthy conversations with other guys.
That's probably the first time he's had a healthy one.
Did you have an unhealthy one with Andy?
No, Andy was lovely.
He was all right.
Like really good chats. Yeah, but anyway, those guys.
Probably not that much talking there.
No. That Andy always moaning.
He was good, and I enjoyed talking with him, so that was cool. And then the winner at the end of the day was Bone Splitters by Mr. Ben, #TooHotRightNow, Sava, who'd already been to a one-day event the day before and won that as well.
Right. So you had a bit of a practice.
Yeah.
Decided to flip the meta on its head.
And go for shooting. And I think the thing that's a big deal there, obviously, is... and we're going to get into this in a bit. Well, we'll ask this question now, actually. What does the Twitch chat and what does everyone think of the fact that shooting is, like, we're probably now in the shooting season in Age of Sigmar. I think you'll see lots of Bone Splitters army. We saw, when we were in Australia only 2 weeks ago, that seems like a lifetime, Nate, we saw the Carriage and Overlords almost win. Jack this weekend had a mixed... Order army with the 40 Arcanauts, the Hurricaneum. We saw Darren last weekend in Northern Ireland with 4 Ballisters, the Ordinator, and the Hurricaneum.
We're about to see loads of rats with guns.
We're about to see loads and loads of Skaven with guns, and if everything's to be believed from the early reviewers, then there's some incredibly good shooting from those guys. So what do you think about the return of shooting as a pair, and also what does the Twitch chat mean?
So personally, I quite like a shooting army. I always play. I would say I'm quite a defensive player. I tend to hold stuff back. I'm not into full frontal alpha. There you go. Deal with that. Mm-hmm. So shooting matches my sort of style on things. So it's kind of. It's not nice that it's coming back because I think it was too popular, too prevalent. But for me personally, obviously, I quite like it because. That suits me and it gives me a new angle again. I've just invested heavily in Gloomspite Gits.
Yep.
So that'll be my first sort of magic-y combat-y army without much shooting in it at all.
But traditionally you played? Yeah,
traditionally always shooting. I'm a bit concerned about it coming back. So we've gone through this dry spell of not that it just flipped for no reason, but you struggled to find shooting that could do enough damage, so it dropped out the scene. Some of the stuff that I've seen about Skaven seems a bit daunting at the moment.
I think that's the really good point about, and I wonder how everyone else in the chat feels as well. So I'd like to know. And I think one of the things about the early reviews. So I've been doing my notes still for the Gits because I've been obviously traveling and doing everything I've been doing the past few weeks because I do them in meticulous detail. It's incredibly frustrating. But I have a system and I'm like every single bit needs to be done in perfect detail and double checked because then when I go to do my write-ups or when we do rundowns, I don't want to make any mistakes. That's quite important. Also, when I'm doing casting, I try and get as much of the information right as possible. So that's pretty key. Yeah, and the early reviewers they have a deadline by which they have to get them out by, and also the shows are we've done review shows, Nath, of Battletomes, fitting all of the detail in a couple of hours. That's quite tense, right? And I don't feel like you get across the correct I don't think you get across, like, you tend to go, do you know what you can do? You can do 42 mortal wounds from shooting. And you're like, that's, I feel like has a bit of a negative impact sometimes, because you're either super excited by that, you're like, yes! Or you're like, oh, that sounds rubbish. I don't want to get shot. What do you guys think?
About book reviews.
Yeah. Well, that you know that whole thing I said.
Yeah, there's loads of them.
That whole thing I said. What do you think about that statement I made? Which is in this podcast. If you'd ever like to go back and listen to it.
Fuck, I'll have to go back and listen to it. 42 mortal wounds sounds horrific.
And then my follow-on point is yes, that does sound horrific, but does that make God?
It's going to be great fun to do it to somebody.
Zeminis, thanks for subscribing.
So I personally, I don't like a book review, to be honest, because I like to A, get the book because it's exciting, B, go through and discover stuff for myself, and I go, ooh, and C, have a think about stuff and see what might be used and what you can do, etc. Yeah. I find the difficulty with books recently is they'll come out and on day one of the release, someone will go, I've had this for 3 months, I've been through it, and this is the list you can build, and it does this. And once you've done that, it's really hard to sort of unsee it or unhear it.
Yes.
And there are other options in the book, and you can go through and do it, but at the back of your mind, you always know it's, because you haven't come up with it yourself and you've already heard it, you know there's a list that's actually stronger than that. And then it becomes really hard not to go with that list all the time. And how you can go, oh yeah, I can put that character in and that character and do that fun thing, but actually it's more efficient just to do this. Blah. So for me personally, it's almost like some of those reviews can ruin the fun of the book immediately. And
is that what you find yourself?
Yeah, and you don't get the true value out of the book.
You're such a millennial. I love book reviews. They're great.
Do you actually?
No, I do like them.
Okay. Well, why?
I just like, I mean, like you say, they're hardly ever going to be in depth. But, you know, you do get a feel for the book. You get a feel for like what the army is.
It saves you having...
Is that ever coloured by the people who are reviewing it, for instance? Like, if you know that, like, necessarily maybe they don't play a lot, or, you know, they might be like someone who likes aggro builds or something similar. Yeah. Do you ever take that into consideration when listening to the book review or not?
Well, yeah, I always try and maintain my own brain inside of my own head. so that...
How are you on a show?
I love it. No, it's great.
You know when I watch Warhammer Weekly and then like Vince is there and he makes like an articulate poem and then like cuts to Tom and then Tom is like, yeah, blah blah blah, and it cuts back to Vince and then sometimes they row and then I go, hey Nathan, you go, what books? I like books.
I do like books. but
I love me a book. No, I think they're really good because it saves you reading a book, and I don't have to read through all of the artifacts.
I like to read through the books, definitely.
But do you not find you're tainted by the time you read it? When somebody said number 1 and number 4 of the artifacts are the best ones, do you not find that then taints your view massively?
No.
Because you can't unhear it.
I wear that Teflon stuff, so I don't ever get tainted.
Go on, you were making a point before we interrupted.
You were.
What
that you wear Teflon?
To say,
I'm not sure
I
what it
wear
was.
Teflon. I keep my own brain inside of my head, and I wrap it with tin foil so that they can't.
Is this because of the giants in Antarctica?
That's exactly because of them.
So Nathan believes that giants helped the Nazis win the Second World War, and now they live in Antarctica.
Did.
Yeah, with giants, and now live in Antarctica. What do you think of that storyline? Well, not storyline, Nathan's reality.
It's not the story.
I've broken him!
Oh, man.
What do you think of that, Nate?
It's great.
Okay, John, what do you think?
It's not something I've considered before, certainly.
I couldn't believe it either.
Did this happen shortly after you got pepper sprayed in the face? That you came up with that?
Big Wendell, thanks for... Oh, hi Mick, hope you're well. Hey, got your dressing gown on. Right.
Anyway, yeah, no, I like book reviews, but I do like to listen to a few of them.
All right, nice.
Yeah,
to get
different angles, but then obviously, yeah.
Ruskies agrees with me.
Yes, this is the best thing for John. Yeah. Constant validation via the internet.
Validate me, people.
Nobody validate me, please.
So, rate my face.
I don't know how we got onto the fact, but obviously both. So I think that's a nice segue. I don't know how we got there into that conversation because I've forgotten.
Because you were doing a detailed Gloomspite thing.
Yeah, you went on a long thing and then just asked me.
Thank you. Anyway,
yeah. Nathan switched off about 2 minutes in.
And the last thing he said was 42 mortal wounds.
Oh yeah, I was just saying.
So yeah, so I think the point is it can ruin it, but I guess it's a bit of a subjective thing.
Yeah, I don't do it.
But you were asking about shooting originally, and then you.
Yes, I was asking about shooting because then I've heard about there could be some Skaven shooting, but ignoring Skaven shooting because I haven't done my notes yet. So
I haven't read. It's just hearsay for me.
Yeah, so I wait till I do mine for that. Would you say that ignoring Skaven for a moment? Would you say that like shooting is something that we're going to have to all think about in Age of Sigmar in the future?
Yeah, we should not have stopped thinking about it.
Well, no, I agree. We talked about that for a long time. Like what I saw Darren last week with the 4 Ballista list, the Ordinator and the Hurricanum, and we talked about that at the beginning of Age of Sigmar 1, Age of Sigmar 2 when the book came out. When the 100 points for it came out, I was like, well, you can just do this, and then like 7 months later, we've seen that army actually on the tabletop and go 5-0.
Yeah.
I think sorry, no.
I think people just got excited when Age of Sigmar 2 dropped that they could just go and fight stuff, so they all got into that, and then suddenly they realised, well, actually guns are still quite good.
Yeah, I think the
Wildwood and
Save
the
Me Sir,
well.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, Look Out Sir.
Look Out Sir, I think that probably gave a bit of a false impression to some of the shooting. You're like, oh, you can't snipe characters anymore. And then I think AOS 2 has given us some tools to better deal with shooting, because before you had to stand there with your cock out. Now, you can put the palisade up.
Yeah, you got sneaky snufflers, the spore, whatever do does.
Yeah, so you've got wildwoods and stuff.
That's more line of sight blocking.
So you've got a load of artifacts that are minus to be hit. So you can actually stack that, so you get -2 to hit.
And we did, for me certainly, feel like we went through a bit of a horde meta for a while. And with Death coming out as well, obviously you suddenly got loads and loads of skeletons. Am I on?
No, yeah, you're fine. Carry on.
Hello?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's more Nathan's. It's all right, don't worry. Just keep going.
Yeah, so Death dropped in at the same time, so suddenly you saw loads of hordes of skeletons again, loads of hordes of Reapers and things like that. And I found certainly that shooting just wasn't very efficient at moving stuff. So I think that's why it died out a little bit. I quite like the fact that it's coming back. What I hope is we don't see just whole shooting armies and gun lines again, because it's whether you can get across the board quick enough before you get mown down, which is a bit boring.
Well, I actually think there's an ebb and flow of army builds, and we've actually seen this over the past, since the inception of Age of Sigmar 1, we've seen this kind of happen not time and again, this will be just the again. We've seen this happen time, now we're into the again, where you do tend to find that, we've had a lot of combat, we've talked about this a long time, waiting for shooting to come. Shooting's here now. I'm pretty certain you're going to see not only Skaven once we get to however they work, but Bone Splitters, Arcanauts are still a thing. Nathan is still very much convinced by his them rubbish dwarves with the guns, dispossessed. But the unit is Iron Drakes.
Yeah.
Iron Drakes.
Yeah, you've been super convinced by them. I've had 70 shooters in my list for my Chaos Dwarves for a long while. So yeah, shooting we're very much au fait with. But then after that, what you tend to find is people make the gun lines, but the scenarios, like we saw at the weekend, are very much set up often that gun lines, because you have to go get objectives in Age of Sigmar, which is really exciting. So they stimmy gun lines quite well, I tend to find. That's why Bone Splitters are so scary, because they're a mobile gun line. So I find that useful.
I suppose one of the bonuses of AOS 2, and a lot of people disagree with this though, is the amount of summoning as well. And a lot of armies have access to summoning, so no longer can you so easily shoot off the board somebody's army, because they've constantly got stuff coming back as well. So you can shoot and kill their stuff, but if you're not having enough of an impact, it's not getting you anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's another difference between AOS 1 shooting and AOS 2 shooting.
Yeah.
I think shooting will come back, and like you say, you get this cycle. So shooting will come back to combat the combat armies, and then we'll have to think about how we combat the shooting armies, and there'll be a book that drops that allows you to get in their face, drop one,
Well,
and then we'll go back to
already
combat.
are. That's what I meant about the ebb and flow. What tends to happen is you'll get the shooting, will come out, and then everyone will do all the shooting, and then there'll be people who alpha or protect against shooting so well, or they get into shooting's face so quickly, and there might already be books that do that.
There already is. So I think we're seeing shooting returning, but I don't think it's going to be dominant. I think it's just going to be a factor.
Okay.
I think it'll be dominant for a period.
I think it'll be over dominant for a while.
Whilst people adjust.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because we've got the Gloom Squad book out, which is
combat,
which is really popular, and that's a combat book.
But is it though? Isn't it a magic book?
No, it's combat and magic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not shooting, is it?
Well, it's ranged. Just because I can do mortal wounds from a gun, what's the difference between that and a mushroom?
Oh well,
I know what the difference between a gun and a mushroom is.
So the mushroom's unreliable. It's 6d6 range, so I can't plan for that because some of the time it's going to drop in front of me, and some of the time it'll drop where I want it to. So from that respect, I'd rather take shooting because I know I'm going to get consistency out of what I'm doing at range. I think that's the problem with them as a magic army. And apart from one caster, you get a +1 to magic from the moon. Do you get a +1 artifact? Not sure. But I still think there's far more powerful casters out there. So to say it's a magic army, I think they're very easily unbound as well.
So you got the Gloom Spite, which are board control and combat. I mean, some of the combat stuff in there is pretty sweet. Yeah. Then you've got the
or they're a denial army.
Board control denial. Yeah. And then you've got the Flesh Eater Courts coming out, which are not renowned for their shooting abilities.
No, they are renowned for 100 million attacks, though, apparently.
Yeah, so
which has kicked off a really hot debate about dice apps on the internet. Because that's what a dice app being used this weekend by the Bone Splitters Force, which was like I would never want it for like priority rolls. I only want squig dice for priority rolls always. And I want it to be done in so if you're English, not English. The moderators are going mad in the chat. But if you guys ever saw the Crystal Dome, where where they would collect all the
Crystal Maze.
Crystal Maze.
Start the fans, please.
Which would be a team TV show where they would do various challenges, and at the end they would get into a crystal dome and they would try to collect bits of paper. I would like to see priority rolls done inside one of those.
With bits of paper?
Whoever grabs the most bits of paper within 1 minute is the winner. What do you think about that?
I think Paul Haley would never win a priority roll.
Because he's too short. You can Google that if you want, or YouTube it. It's a great TV show, and the presenter is insane. He looks much like you two. A thumb.
Sweet. And then we've also got the Khorne Battletome coming out again, not a shooting thing. And I think having watched that Australian guy play the Khorne,
have we even talked about that from the weekend? Stuff. No, carry on.
So again, I bet they're going to be fast as well, and they're always choppy.
Yeah, how's it been 4 days? I've just realised. Yeah, so there's some other news. Obviously, there's also a Khorne Battletome that's been announced. That's pretty exciting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised actually because it was only a little while ago that we had the Blades of Khorne, unless AOS 2 significantly changed it. But I'm actually a little bit excited about that because I've never been tempted by Chaos before, and I'm thinking actually a big sea of red dudes running around the board might be for me now.
Yeah. Well, it's really good actually because one of the books that I think that I don't really have very well in my head for commentating is the Blades of Khorne book. So I was like, I'm going to do. I'd said to you a couple of weeks ago, hadn't I? I was like, I'm going to have to go through the Blades of Khorne book again and redo my notes. Just to swat up, and then they were like Blades of Khorne book, and I was like, fucking sweet. I have to read it anyway. So but the spells look cool. What do you guys think of the spells?
Yeah, whatever they're going to be, they do look cool.
Yeah, they look cool. Yeah,
there's a skull thing, there's an axe thing, and then there's just a Khorne symbol thing, isn't there? Yeah, you up for them?
Yeah,
there'll be prayers, I imagine, or you'll summon them with blood type points.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, That's fun.
Not magic.
Not magic, no. But that's exciting that they announced that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What's the bit of scenery? we seen a bit of scenery for it?
For the corn guys, I don't think we did, no.
No, we didn't. No, and you're right. Then we more than likely would expect that.
It's
a corn fortress, right? You have to buy an entire corn fortress.
One of those chaos forts.
Yeah,
the chaos forts.
You have to buy the entire chaos fort.
Oh, okay.
Proper gate.
And if you're within 10 inches of it, you're
D6 mortal wounds. It's an £800 piece of scenery, but it guarantees you.
Well, you want
to. There wasn't corn scenery shown, so we will see that, which is really exciting. And again, shout out to Warhammer Weekly. They did a show about that. If you want to go and check out some excitement and people being pumped. So we were talking about shooting. I think you're right, Nathan. And John, you made that point earlier when we were off air that there's loads of combat armies already in the game.
Yeah.
That can go and deal with stuff, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Gloomspite have got great Alpha Strike stuff. So
yeah. All right.
Bring it on.
Okay, cool. Big bit of cool news from the weekend. Donal, he nicked the ethereal amulet on Steve Curtis's Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon, and then shot him to it, and then beat him up and killed him, which is a sweet move.
That is nice.
And also shout out to Ben Sava, who used the command ability on the Savage Big Boss for his Bone Splitters, which allows you to generate an extra attack on a 6 to hit, 6 or more. And he gives it +1 to hit, so it's on 5s, and then he did it 4 times.
Nice.
So every 5 to hit generated 4 more hits, which was awful, and that's why he used a dice app, because he generated too many dice.
Yeah,
he didn't own that many dice. He was only rolling 10 squig dice all tournament.
Wow, that's cool.
And a dice app. Because it really lets you narrow down. If you use a dice app, you can. Not that I'm for it, by the way. I don't have an opinion ATM. But you can really narrow it down and just have like 10 dice that you really care about. You're like, priority roll, the pink one. Yes, magic, these 2. Yeah? No? You can name them.
Your dice?
Yeah.
I'd be highly dubious of that. Someone said, this is my priority roll dice.
Anyway, so I had a great weekend. I think that's where we were at. We saw lots of shooting. Ben won. Everyone was super friendly and lovely. Alex did all of his with his Ironbot. He did all of his tabletop reporting via Twitter, which is quite cool. I quite like that. Tim was lovely. Had a lovely weekend. Thank you to everyone in London. You guys are ace. If you can get yourself to Magic Madhouse, you should do that. I had to make sure my notes I did check off. Yeah, that's fine. I did everything.
Well
excellent.
Done.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very impressed.
Who came last?
Bone Splitters also.
Oh, interesting.
Rogue Idol.
Yeah, Rogue Idol.
Rogue Idol. And who was that? Matt.
No, it was. Why did you ask me? Now I look like a dickhead, don't I?
Not only that, I'm very interested in who came 6th.
Right. Anyway. So on with so Skaven and FEC are out. That's the next bit of news. What do you guys think of that? Have you heard any new stuff? We haven't done our show notes yet, so we haven't. The book's currently on pre-order. So what do you guys think?
I've only heard dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
Mainly about the Skaven stuff. I've not heard much, and they sound bonkers. So
both of them sound bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other follow-up thoughts, John?
I think it's good that the rats got something, because I think they've been a bit lacking, haven't they?
For many a while.
Flesh Eater Courts. I don't know if they could have gone with something else first. I don't know what else is in the pipeline, but
cool.
They've just had, whether it's just meant to be the year of death.
Corn is next.
After Flesh Eater Courts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean behind that even. Because for me, it's like, I mean, Death went so long without any love, but it feels like they're getting all the love. So I don't know about that. But
by the way, it was Simon Froley that came last, who's also Morgan Stormsmasher, and I'm annoyed he didn't introduce himself as Morgan Stormsmasher. Yeah, because I fucking love that guy on the internet. I hate it when people don't introduce themselves via their Twitter handle. They're like, "Hi, I'm Dave." I'm like, that means nothing to me. Then they say their Twitter handle. I'm like, yes.
How many people are watching right now?
108 people at least.
108 people on Twitter. I am Warhammer_AOS.
Good. All right. Good.
Right now, let's see. how if your numbers go down, now they realise who I am from my Twitter handle.
Good. Let's find that out. So no other follow-up thoughts about Skaven and FEC? What does the Twitch chat think of Skaven and FEC?
Yeah. I think it's great. It's a couple of new books without having to be a massive release. It's a bit annoying, so I waded into Gloomspite. I think a lot of people have, and then obviously a couple of new books straight away afterwards. You're like, I might have wanted to do some of them. But yeah, I'll wait and see what happens. I don't know a lot about the books at the moment. Everyone's very excited, which is a good thing. So we'll see what happens. As long as it's not all power creep. I think ghouls doing 7 attacks each might be horrific, especially if they got some kind of...
And then piling an attack twice.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
And if they've got no battle shock as well. That could be annoying, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Okay, Nath, anything else to add to that before I see what the Twitch chat say?
No, just sounds like
I'm excited for Skaven.
it's going to be good.
I'm excited for Skaven. I really am.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. As long as they've fixed some of the problems where you couldn't actually take certain characters in an army and things like that.
Yeah. So one of the negative pieces of news, to stay honest and keep it real, is that the Island of Blood set that so that used to be the old starter set for Warhammer Fantasy Battle. The Island of Blood set, some of the units in there got removed from. They're not in the Skaven book. And you're not able to use them. So, I think the Winged Globadier potentially.
Winged Globadiers.
Yeah, and some of the other units. That kind of upsets some people because they just got taken off the web store. They didn't say anything about it. Thanks, Brett Hoare, for subscribing. So that kind of upset people a little bit. Because then also the Scourge Privateer players, both of them, are a little bit worried that their army might go away as well. So that can be a little bit... It's fine if you're going to get rid of stuff. Just let people know, as opposed to having to go and work it out. You got any thoughts on that? No, it's a negative bit, but that's just life. There is bits that aren't great, and sometimes
I don't know if it makes a lot of difference. That I'm maybe not getting the point, but as soon as you tell someone, they know. So if they find out now, it's the same as if they get 2 months warning. Okay. There's still a point where you say it's not viable.
Well, okay, so I think they released it as a special edition last Christmas, so it's only really a year and a half old. Some of those models that you could buy is the point. While it was a repackage of an
it's
old
a repackage of 6th edition, was it?
No, 8th edition.
Oh, is it? That was the 8th edition
starter set.
Yeah, and people got Reavers back, didn't they? Because they put a couple of elves back into the app. Yeah. But they've taken some of those away. Yeah. It's a bit naughty, really, if you've just flogged a load of them. But let's face it, that's what happens sometimes. All the fuss about, 40k codexes and things like that, and General's Handbooks, when you could buy them, a week before the new one came out. And I think they may have done something around that in the last edition, but I know certainly the first General's Handbook was still on sale when the second one was about to drop.
Yeah.
Which is a bit naughty. They ought to do a little bit of protectionism around what people buy.
And quite rightly so. I saw someone's comment there, it just makes me nervous buying things, because especially stuff that isn't very much like Iron Jaws. They're not going to get rid of any of the Iron Jaws range. Yeah, but it makes people nervous to be actually, should I? I mean, Skaven got the book, so I think that's great, because I think people can safely buy into the Skaven that's in that book now.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit scary sometimes when you think, I really do like a High Elf Dragon, for instance, but is that actually ever going to get
it's
a
probably
Battletome?
fucked, isn't it?
The thing is, it's annoying if you've got old models, but then the general rule of thumb would be don't go and buy old stuff, because GW don't want you to. So you have to work on the basis that... they're not going to promote it or use it again in the future, because they want to design new stuff, sell new stuff, keep the thing moving, keep you buying. So I think, firstly, if you go and buy old models, you've got to look at yourself. But secondly, GW have got to have a think about things, because if they're deliberately selling old models, in this instance, a relaunch of that box set, well, then that's taking the piss, frankly, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So if you've got something that's sat there and it hasn't been used for a long time, you take your chances.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to put your trust in people, and GW have fucked those people in the case of
this particular
Globadier.
Yeah, well, in that re-release last year.
Yeah.
Nathan, any thoughts?
Yeah. No, that
because
sounds
Provoke Tree in the chat has said, Obviously, Dispossessed are a bit of an old force now.
Yeah, they are. So, well, you just got to have your eyes open when you're looking at buying, like, original sort of 8th edition stuff. That is,
but then the Rockgood Troggoth, like Provoke Tree saying, the Rockgood Troggoth, that's got a Dispossessed model in it, right?
Yeah.
So you're safe.
Well,
but not all units will be.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Yeah, you might not see Quarrelers and stuff like that.
Do you remember when they got rid of the Miners?
Yeah, exactly. The Miners were a nice plastic kit, really nice kit. Came with loads of stuff, and then.
And you also remember when Miners were free for like a whole week?
Yeah, that was great. They were just
released the General Assembly, they forgot points on Miners, and Nathan was like, 400 Miners!
Throwing dynamite everywhere.
Yeah, he's always chanting Miners.
Something like that.
So Highcon Wargaming says, all models, especially things that are not very copyrightable generic fantasy, are particularly risky, which is a little bit sad. Yeah, I'm just seeing what the guys are saying about the chat. Tiny King says, also Skaven will be a surprising number of metal models. Still using a surprising number of metal models, says Tiny King. I did not know that. They kept the metal model range.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
They do. Like the Arsenic model is still part of the Gloom Spikes. That's metal resin. So.
It's not the same name though, is it?
No.
Which one's Skarsnik? The guy walking a squig?
Yeah, he's got a squig and a
Loom Boss with a cave squig.
With a squig, yeah.
There's one with a squig and there's one on a squig.
Yeah, I saw that in a cabinet today.
Yeah, it's cool. Warhammer Weekly Thomas says, Gaming will shake up the meta. FEC are set to be strong. I can't wait to see them explode on Daughters of King chaff with bladed shields. Just like go forward and just murder themselves. Might see some Shield of Thorns coming back. That'd be cool. Skaven Acolytes are still $10 per model, says Tiny King. Oof, that's fucking hell. No, thank you. Luvo says stoked for FEC.
And they're pretty fucking good.
Yeah, the FEC community is a little bit up and down, but there's some nasty combos in there. Provoke Tree. Liam Gordon, good enough for me to buy an entire army based on rumours, says Liam John, which is a mistake, and only can be a mistake. Don't do it on rumours. Speckles says, my son isn't going to be happy when I take my army back, says Speckles. So a lot of people don't know that Speckles actually...
I wonder where that was going for a moment.
Rick Wendell says, is Nathan profoundly conflicted, ? How can one player love both Gloomspike Gits and Dispossessed? I'd keep an eye on him. It's two sides of your nature, right, Nate?
Yeah, I'm schizophrenic.
Yeah, you're a git and someone who holds a grudge.
But in both instances, short.
Yeah, and shit. No, great.
He's a shit schizophrenic, everyone.
All right, so I've got some. All right, okay, so that's cool. When we get the book, me and Nathan and anyone else.
At least they're real armies instead of the imaginary shit that you play.
Excuse me, I have an updated Battletome.
Compendium.
It's not a compendium. It's a Battletome. It does say compendium on it.
Yeah,
it's a compendium of the Battletome.
Yeah. Whatever.
For the Legion of Asgore. Hey, makes sense. Right, so on to interviewing Nathan, our special guest, because some people may be wondering who he is and why he's here. John, hi.
Hi.
This is your section in the show.
Epic.
This is John. So first,
do I get to stand up and move around a bit in this bit? Because
yes.
I can't feel my feet.
You can't.
Don't worry, we're getting some fajitas.
So, John, obviously you play Warhammer. How long have you been playing Warhammer for?
I've been playing Warhammer since shortly after AOS started.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So my lad, it was like his 9th or 10th birthday, something like that. So I thought, I'll take him along to Warhammer. It's about the right age to show him Little Men and get him interested. So I Googled, and there was a place called Warhammer World. And I was like, fuck, what's that? That's not too far. So we went there and had a look around, and I was like, this is dog shit. Where are all the dwarves? There's all these spacemen running around. I don't get it.
Running?
Investigate. Well, yeah, some of them. 10 retributors teleporting. That's what was happening at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll investigate a bit further because it seems it will change a little bit. And actually, the game was far more accessible than it had been. So I was like, I'm going to have a look at this and maybe start playing. I got to an age now where I used to play a lot of sport, and can't tell that now. But I used to play a lot of sport and always been very competitive, but I'm at an age now where I can't do that, where I want to. So I like it that it's something I can do physically and still be competitive. So we were having a conversation earlier about I wasn't going to get into it until I did a bit of rooting around and found there were tournaments and you could actually try and compete and, take people on and stuff. And that sort of ticked that box for me. So yeah, started getting into it. Bought a couple of starter sets.
What was your first army?
Did some Stormcast. So I bought a couple of starter sets, but I also bought a shitload of Fire Slayers.
Nice.
Because I'd always liked dwarves, but they were like the newest dwarves.
You and Johnny.
Yeah.
No, go for it.
So yeah, got my Fire Slayers, played them for the first few months, and just lost every single game. Which was probably because I just started, but also because I didn't stand a fucking chance.
His Fire Slayers at that point weren't good.
They were not good.
They were not good.
And then Sylvaneth came out. So I was like, jumped on the Sylvaneth because I was like, right, these look a bit stronger. I can do something with it.
Were you also interested in buying an army where, like, the entire, like, you could literally, like, you could press into a mould one Fire Slayer and then just pour stuff into it and just do 1,000 of them, and no one would ever know the fucking difference because they all look the same.
Racist.
They all look the same.
Racist.
No, they all look the same.
Yeah, they do all look the same, but that's actually when you're gaming, that's a real benefit because you just hide that.
This is the special character.
You hide the rune slider in that block
character.
of 30. That fucker ain't never dying.
Yeah, it stresses me out. So someone puts a Fire Slayer army down, and I'm like, where are your characters? It's like, this one. He's not actually the kit. I didn't buy the character, but I just took an extra fire thing on his head because it saved me 28 quid for basically no difference. I'm like, to be fair, I agree with you, but I can't tell where anything is.
Look for the extra fire thing.
Huh?
Look for the extra fire thing.
Yeah, fucking hell, he's told
He's
you.
just told you.
He's good enough to run me through this army.
All right. Okay. So.
Millennials.
I know.
So you
They want everything
you went
delivered,
into
don't they?
Sylvaneth and you played some other armies.
Sylvaneth was great because it was the first one that was, well, for me, that dropped with like a decent book and a whole range of characters, and obviously Alariel was something different at the time. So I went with that, got a bit stronger, and then, yeah, gone from there, really, done different armies. I'm always, so to the point about buying old stuff and getting screwed over, I always buy the newest thing because they're most likely to get supported for longer. They're most likely to have least people playing them at the time, so I always get them table standard and get them out as quickly as possible. And yeah, it's just new and exciting, and people don't know what to do with it.
Okay, cool.
Rather than
So what are you currently playing?
Rehashing. So currently, I have gone into Gloomspite, and so I was playing Sacrosanct, gone into Gloomspite. Not going to get Gloomspite done for Slaughter, which is
The next event you're
the first
attending.
event I'm going to, yeah. Not the first event I'm going to, but this year.
Yeah.
So it will be Sacrosanct again for that. But yeah, currently painting up Manglers and Colossals. And
How does it feel to be next to the Grot boss himself, old Nathan Prescott?
I know, I'm very excited. You've played me with your Grots, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think you beat my Fire Slayers.
Yes, I did.
It was, yeah. So it'd be good to get some insight into that.
And has it been fun joining the Age of Sigmar community? Like are we going to get onto the fact that you're a TO of more than likely the world's largest Age of Sigmar event this year, which is very exciting. But has it been, ignoring that part of that element and being a player before we get to that part? Like, has it been fun being part of that community?
Yeah, it has. So there's like really great people, and I've made a lot of good friends. I found it slightly peculiar when I first came in. Because although it's competitive, it's different to the world of sport.
Yeah.
Where the world of sport, there's natural rivalries and derbies, and you know, when you go to the next town along to play them, it's, you know, you're committing blood because you want to win to stitch up that next town. Whilst here it's competitive, but also viewed as you need to be friendly, which is obviously great. You know, we're all friends, we're all doing it, but
it is natural to have rivalry.
Yeah, there is. Rivalry seems to be sort of frowned upon in this community, which is a little bit alien to me. The other thing that was alien was coming in. There seems to be there was very much a sort of hierarchy of people and statuses. And from coming in completely new and looking at that hierarchy, I couldn't work out what was going on and why people were in certain positions in the community.
So right at the top, obviously, Adam Kunis.
Yeah, Adam Kunis. Well, you can understand that, though, because he's a leader of men. He is
and a gorgeous angel.
Yeah, he has a very defined jawline.
Yeah, Paul, have you met Paul from Northern Ireland, Paul Bastian?
No, I haven't. Is he
Christ
also...
alive. If that man picked up an axe, screamed, and was like, "Let's go to war," I'd follow him. Me and Mick Wendell. Yeah, I'd be Legolas. Mick would be, I'll let you fill in the blank.
Yeah. It's interesting, actually. Sorry, they did a study after World War II of the American military.
Oh, yeah.
And all of the American generals and senior commanders that had done well actually had a very defined and chiseled jawline. And all the ones that had done badly and failed in campaigns, etc., didn't.
Is that true?
That's true. And it's
cool.
because people will naturally follow someone who looks sort of alpha and like they can take a punch and fight.
It was
So,
just a coincidence.
no, it could have been a coincidence.
It could have been. There could be no correlation to the
So
causation.
that backs up Adam Kunis
yeah, as the leader of men.
as the leader of
As
men.
the leader of all men. All right, cool. So let's talk about being a TO.
TO.
So you run the Bobo event.
So me and Johnny,
Yes.
my partner in crime, we both
But
run that event.
you, if anything, you're the angel to his Charlie.
I don't know what you mean by
Have
that.
you never seen Charlie's Angels? No,
I've never seen Johnny's Charlie. I'm sure I'd be pleasant to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be an angel.
Yeah, okay, but anyway, yeah. So he's the man behind the myth that is John, right?
He is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's the guy that keeps the actual tournament ticking over and everybody in a straight line.
And as I understand
all
it,
the
he's your
results
gaming
sorted.
rival also.
Bit of a gaming rival, yeah.
Yeah.
We like to have a bit of friendly rivalry. Johnny likes to bring the filthiest lists he can, and then I concede. It's generally what happens.
How does that feel?
No, it's fine. I mean, some people, that's all they've got in life, so...
Okay, good. All right, so, sorry. So you run the Bobo. What's the Bobo? Because some people always ask that question, so it's worth answering.
The Bobo. So the Bobo originally came out of... We used to do a podcast called Bravery One.
Nate, do you remember that podcast?
Do you remember that? So it was actually...
Never listened to that.
I've never listened to it either.
I think at one time he had quite a few listeners, but then some twat started up some channel and nicked all the people, and then it died a death.
So sorry.
Yeah, so I'm obviously being new to the community and seeing all these things that were in place. I tagged in and joined in and went along to a number of tournaments.
Yeah.
Did a few of the larger ones, and I just sort of sat at home and thought, this isn't really any different to me turning up to my club on a Wednesday night and playing my mates 3 or 4 games or whatever. You know,
Apart from there are less people.
At the club.
Yeah, at the
club, yeah.
No, I meant it.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like I could organise this on a Saturday morning amongst my mates. I'm not getting a lot of value from paying over a lot of money. And then I go along, I sort of, yes, someone tells you who you're playing, but then you play your game, and that was about it. So I was like, there must be something you can do to try and zhuzh it up a bit, make it a bit more of a...
Also, sorry, what word did that, Nath? Did you catch that?
Jushu.
Zhuzh it.
Zhuzh.
Zhuzhing it.
Zhuzh. How can you explain to me how you zhuzh something?
Add a little sparkle.
Oh, a bit of spice.
Yeah.
Some paprika. You wanted to paprika Warhammer.
Yes.
Okay, good.
But essentially, going to an event and actually make it more of an event and something that happens continuously rather than basically putting you in a room and leaving you to make your own fun. So that's how Bobo came about. So,
Did you know about my childhood? Because that's...
and most of your teams.
And most of this week.
So we just invented the Bravery One British Open because it was a bit catchy.
Le Bobo.
Bobo.
Le Bobo. And then it's gone from strength to strength. And last year you did how many people? We did the coverage, but how many people went?
How many people did you do last year?
So first year we did 50.
Yeah.
And then we had a mini Christmas competition.
Uh-huh.
Second year we sold 110. I think we had about 86 or around about 90 anyway.
So like a Warhammer World
up.
Heat to give you a comparison, yeah.
Yeah, and then we did another Christmas one, and that was 50 people.
Decent.
So just a sort of select Christmas party.
Yeah, nice.
And then so far this year, we've sold about 220 tickets for the summer one, which is in May, so it's more of a springtime one, really.
So that's super exciting. So obviously, Nate, we were in CanCon, so we were at Court of Glory with Clint, organizer of the world's largest event. in Age of Sigmar over there in Australia. So big shout out to those guys. And Clint, one more time, superstar. So, John, do you feel the pressure or the nerves of organising an event so big?
Not really, to be honest, because we organised it for 50 people and they liked it. And the next year it became 100 people. But we did the same as we did for the 50 people.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing the same again. So it won't be a carbon copy, don't get me wrong, but we put some new ideas into it, try and make sure people have a good time. So that's all we're going to do. Yes, there'll be more people, but it's the same ethos. It's the same sort of relaxed atmosphere. So I'm hoping, apart from the organisation side of things in terms of results, that obviously becomes a bit more complex. The rest of it is pretty as is, really.
Will there be a band again? That's my question.
You'll have to wait and see. We try to come up with some new stuff each year, so there'll be some surprises and some old favourites in there. So.
All right, good. Nath, you've attended all the Bobos and worked most of them as well. Like, how would you rate it as an event?
Yeah,
right in front of his face.
It's fucking shit. It's a great laugh. It's a laugh.
It is a laugh. Yeah.
The thing that's really unique, I think, because a tournament is people go there to game and they compete. But what's completely different about ours, I think, to other people's is that that's not the only thing people go for. Don't take me wrong. So other people go to have fun, they go to drink, they see their mates, all those sort of things. But there just seems from the moment you walk in, everybody's there for a really good time. We have live music there playing when people are arriving. It's instantly relaxed. It just feels like a different way of playing and a different ethos. So
can I ask a question as a TO, because I find this quite challenging. So obviously, now I know you've said that you're not too bothered about doing the largest event. That just is a happenstance of you doing a great job. The venue's great, the organisation is great, and I think that's a big shout out to Johnny there. You entertain everyone. You do loads of comparing and stuff. That's really funny, and everyone enjoys that. I worked obviously at the last one. We did the coverage, and I went to the one the year before. That was fantastic. Thank you very much, even though I wasn't allowed to go. So that was awesome. I really enjoyed it. So as someone who's been and someone who's worked at it, excellent event all the way. Food's great, organisation's great. Garissimo, who does the trophies and stuff, they're fantastic. There's always tons of prize support, which is quite silly actually. Truth be told, no offence. It's just a bit much. My question is like, obviously you've got that, and I know the thing that you care most about is people having fun.
Mm-hmm.
How do you equivocate people that going there to win with people trying to have fun? Because that's quite challenging, I would say, as a TO, because like right in the pack or getting that vibe across that you want everyone to come and have a laugh. But obviously there's the fear. Lots of people have fear about going to tournaments that they're gonna everyone's just gonna try and beat me and it's gonna be a really shit time. That's a fear people have, right? Like, how don't you have a fear because you care about nothing? You nihilist, laconic builder, man. John, how do you deal with that?
So right from the start, we wanted it to be something that would be perfect for first-time tournament goers. And let's face it, you can try as hard as you want at gaming, but there's only first, second, and third. So however many people you've got there, the majority of people aren't going to win anything.
Yeah, they're all going to fuck it up.
They're all going to fuck it. I mean, if you look at Gary...
Is that what you call them? As soon as someone loses, you're like, you're now a fuck up. Welcome to the fuck up team.
Fucked it up.
I mean, Gary Percival's been twice to the summer one now, and massive try hard. Takes it really seriously. Came nowhere near. So he may as well have just gone to have fun. But for him, the gaming element is the fun, so that's fine. So one of the first things we do is we divide up the competition so that we say whatever you're interested in, there's a chance for you to excel at it.
Yeah.
So you got gaming, sports, best painted, that's judged by an independent judge, and coolest, which is judged by the players. So there's a few different competitions for you to go for. So you can go and get drunk and have a right laugh and lose all your games and still walk away with a prize as good as the person who wins gaming. The second thing is we keep those streams completely separate so that if you go there for gaming and that's your thing, you're not impacted by someone who's a good painter, because you're not impacting his painting by gaming, so it shouldn't happen vice versa, in our opinion.
Couldn't agree more. B-Chad, thanks for subscribing, by the way.
And then also, obviously, we encourage through the pack a nice fair pack that isn't too gamey, tries to inhibit anything too sort of spammy or too severe. So in that way, we try and protect people's experience. We promote
interactivity, right?
Yeah, we promote sort of tournament etiquette and having fun and making sure your opponent has a good time.
Yeah.
And then it's the stuff in between to try and keep the atmosphere light. So it's not all hardball gaming. It's even if you've had a hard game, you can still have a laugh in between, relax, and go into your next game not really caring too much because it's not what the event is necessarily about.
Nice. Did you say that there was some sort of there was some big prize for coolest army, or there was something going down?
Yeah, coolest army this year. We've got something quite special lined up, which I think the winner will like, and will continue to roll for a couple of months afterwards. So I won't say exactly what it is, but it's something with a bit of longevity to it. So it'll be a really nice prize. If anyone's interested in coming for Coolest Army, obviously there's great prizes throughout, and for the best painting, that will be independently judged, but that's judged on sort of technical ability rather than necessarily how great your army looks. So if you're interested in Coolest Army...
Because I was thinking I could potentially build my Chaos Dwarf army inside of a castle and then put it in the hood of a VW Beetle and then roll that in.
Roll it into the sea.
Huh? Why do you always bring me down? I'm trying to say it. 1 point for Nathan. Let's get ourselves some flip cards. That's what we should get. And as the show starts, we'll set it on 0. We're like, 1 for Nathan.
I was just falling asleep and then I heard him talking about them fucking imaginary things.
Point for me. Lee Bromley in the chat, the winner of last year's Coolest Army, where he had a croak on a magnet floating, right?
Yeah, and on an electromagnetic field spinning around. So he won Coolest Army last year, and it's all player voted. But so this year we want to go really big on that. It's not enforced display boards or anything like that, but obviously bring it along, make your army look super sweet, and there's a really good prize up for grabs.
That's cool. That's cool that's like a big focus, because a lot of people will hear like the number like 220, 240 people at an event, and they'll be like, I want to win that event because that's a big prize to win. So they'll be excited for that from a competitive sense, but it's nice that there's also like some support for like the hobby element of it as well, without it impacting the gaming.
Yeah,
I don't think it should impact the gaming.
And we got a load of other spot prizes and things going on. So if you come along, you got quite a good opportunity to sort of walk away with something.
Or stood up against the wall and shot.
Or stood up against the wall and shot.
Yeah, that happened one time, right?
It's a couple of times, yeah.
Yes, a couple of times. All right, cool. That sounds excellent. Anything else to add to the conversation about Bobo?
No, there's a handful of tickets left.
Where is it? How can we find that out?
So it's May the 18th and 19th. It's in Lincoln.
Mm-hmm. Which is, by the way, if you're an out of country bod, it's got a really pretty cathedral. I know that doesn't really add much, but if you want to take the Friday off and go around the cathedral, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's quite a sort of old city, so that it's got some nice cobbled streets and scenery and that sort of thing. So I know that Bishmeister, our painting judge, a couple of years ago came and spent a day going around the city doing a bit of shopping and sightseeing, and then a day judging. So that was really nice. But yeah, all the details are on the website, which is thebobo.co.uk. There's a handful of tickets because we've had some people drop out due to, we were actually pretty much sold out about 9 months in advance. Wow. So as people are getting closer, they're getting wedding invites and this and that. So we've had a few dropouts since. So there's a handful there if anyone's interested.
Because of course the other biggest event that we went to was a CanCon Day. So we went to America with Clint. Australia. With Clint at CanCon, which was awesome, and he obviously, which was super sweet. He crowdfunded. He set up a GoFundMe to send him over. Now, John, I know that there's something that's happened between you and Clint and some of the other TOs We'll get to that in a minute. But I thought what would be really cool, Nath, is if, because I think Clint's obviously done an amazing thing for us travelling over to Australia, and everyone who chipped in on that, obviously you're also in that package as well. But Clint set it up. So again, massive thanks. I thought what would be really cool, and I intend to do tonight, so it should be in the show note links, and I'll do later. It'd be cool to set up a GoFundMe to bring Clint over from Australia, and then him play at the Bobo. John, is there a ticket for Clint available, do you reckon?
Absolutely, there is.
Yeah.
He can either sort of join in and be a judge. We need a head judge for the table 1 this year, so he can join in and just get involved with the crew and float around, get drunk and have a laugh. Or absolutely, there's a ticket there for him to game. So.
I think it would be nice because it must be. How do you feel? Because obviously you go to Bobo, you're like this is an event I'd like to attend. Yeah. Does it annoy you that you can't then attend it? Because I've been club nights for years, and my club nights, by the way, are fucking wicked. Yeah, they would have always been the ones that I wanted to go to, and then when I'm not working, I go somewhere else, and I go, this fucking
These
sucks.
are shit.
Yeah.
Well, so I quite enjoy sort of running it. It's a good thing. The thing that's really annoying is because we're now running 2, so we've got the summer one and the Christmas one, and potentially a doubles one or a team one as well.
Oh, nice.
I'm a bit restricted in the events that I can actually go and play. So I'm going to Slaughter.
Sheffield Slaughter, which we're doing a coverage at in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been sort of really great in supporting Bobo, actually, as an event as well. So they're great guys there. So I'm going along to try and support them. And then I might be able to get to a couple of one-dayers. But because I'm actually running those now, it cuts out my season in terms of playing. So it's quite a big sacrifice, really, because I'm then limited, but I continue to play with my mates and things like that. So
something similar for us, really. Like sometimes people will message us, and I'll turn around to Nathan excited. We'll do the story. This is how it works. So I'm on my phone, right, and I'm like, "Oh, Nath, they want us to cover this event," and then he says,
"Fuck off,"
because he wants to go play, right? And it was quite frustrating this weekend because I was like, this would be really fun to play. It's frustrating in Northern Ireland. I wanted to play there. Frustrating when I was at CanCon as well. So yeah, that's really tense. So I think it would be lovely to get someone who does organise events for people around the world to be able to go to an event, in Australia at least, to come and see. And that's a nice kind of like bringing the communities together, right? Australia and
hands across the ocean.
Yeah, because we've got LV. He's popping over from Canada, so our stats machine. Tim, who did from Magic Madhouse this weekend, he's coming up, and it's his first ever Age Sigmar tournament, John. He's bringing the Gloomspike Gits.
Sweet.
That's his first really ever tournament, so he's coming up with all the Angel Core boys, which is really exciting.
To Bobo.
To Bobo.
Amazing.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of the Angel boys coming up.
It's
nice.
Adam Kunz's 40th birthday.
Ah.
Yeah.
No, I did know that, actually.
Yeah, good.
We've got some surprises planned for birthday.
Wait, do we all have to do the sing-song? Is that what we have to do?
I think there might be a few more surprises.
That's the least of his troubles, I'm afraid.
And then Warhammer Weekly Tom, yes, I think me, Warhammer Weekly Tom, and you, Nathan, may well be doing the coverage from Adepticon. We're still waiting on an email. If anyone does happen to know,
who came last at the London Masters?
Or even
never mind. His name's not Clint, because that's... Never mind. Anyway.
Clint's in Australia.
Yeah, never mind. I know who I mean.
Who runs Adepticon?
It's Hank. Hank runs Adepticon. I'd never forget his name. A lovely man. We're just waiting for him to give us the okay.
What's Hank
and then
short
Nathan,
for?
you can't play Warhammer. You have to talk.
Fuck.
Shit. We might just hire a whole American team so you can play, yeah, and then I'll train an American team. How's that sound?
Great.
Good. Better, yeah?
So here's the top plan. So we've got one of the player spots for Bobo says Bravery 1, and the top plan it means anyone in the crew can drop in and have a game whilst the others are covering, and you can rotate through. So you can actually have a game and have some fun while you're playing.
Yeah,
but you can also organise.
We're probably going to try and do a professional job though.
Yeah, you can't because you're a control freak.
But right to the heart of me as a person.
But Nathan can, because he doesn't give a shit.
All right, yeah, so that would be cool. And I think setting up a GoFundMe for Clint would be pretty awesome. And I think it would also be really great if we started to get that international community of people that we've got, like, jumping across the pond to each other. I think that would be really cool. So I'm going to set that up later tonight. Because we're obviously going over to Sweden to see Jonathan. Jonathan will be coming over from Sweden.
He will be coming. He's going to be our head judge.
That's right, so you called in the Swedish Meta as the head judge.
We have. Hopefully he's going to bring that guy that you had on your show.
The best agency.
But that's only if he's emotionally ready to judge. I don't want it if he's just going to pretend.
Hi Warhammer Liam, how you doing? All right, and John, you can't play Warhammer, just generally. It's not for the fact we can't spare you, it's just the skill level. Scrivo, that is. Yes, well, Scrivo can't play because he won't be there Sunday. Yeah, he'd have to make it for both days, and that would be an issue.
Yeah, I don't want to be massively let down by him not turning up the second day. That would be horrific.
All right, I think that's everything. Anything else to say about the events? You happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I think we've interviewed John. Unless, Nathan, you've got any questions for John? Or Twitch chat, have you got any questions for John? Before we move on to mine and Nathan's rundowns.
I asked him a question, really.
What was your question?
Why?
Why what?
Why John?
I asked him that right at the beginning.
Have you got any other questions for him?
How?
Through sheer willpower.
I thought so. I could see
Where?
the beats of
Lincoln.
Sure.
What?
Sure. Are you
Is
sure?
that the question?
I'm sure it's in Lincoln. Yeah.
No, like deep insightful questions, Nate. Something like welling up in the stoic undertones of your
I'm
mournful
not stoic.
soul.
I don't write fucking diaries.
No, that's the Stoics.
Them too.
Yeah. So Speckles asked, "Will there be bingo again, John?"
There will be some bingo. That is confirmed.
Good. And what's the accommodation like around Lincoln?
Lots of accommodation. I think it's got quite a big population. And they all live in houses.
Will you ever run a 40k style bobo and expand?
Doubtful.
Okay. Will there be a VIP ticket upgrade with table service?
No.
Okay.
What's wrong with you?
Are you dressed up as a Santa for Crimbobo, says JJ. What will you be dressing up for as a normal Bobo into the summer?
I shall be wearing my Speedos.
Nice. Okay. There we go. Good.
I've got any other questions?
Huh? That is all of the... So you have some questions on Twitter.
We did have some questions from Twitter.
Go for it, yeah.
I've got to find them, so you might want to carry on to
well,
avoid the dead air.
What is the biggest challenge organising Bobo so far, and what are some of your goals for the event, and how will that lead to your success quantifiably?
What was the biggest challenge?
Yeah, what is the biggest challenge?
It's always doing those videos at the beginning, isn't it?
That's quite a challenge.
Yeah.
We do enjoy. So we do some videos, don't we?
Challenge.
Yeah, we do some videos to sort of try and for the new guys to try and show them what is entailed in the scenario that's coming up.
Yeah. Education.
But what we like to do is we like to do them the night before at about midnight.
We do tend to leave them to the last moment.
Yeah, and we find that really gets the inspirational juices flowing.
Necessity is the mother of invention, I find.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so they're always a bit of a challenge, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are challenging. They're emotionally challenging as a viewer. Yes, it's definitely an adult event, right?
So I would advise not coming if you're under 16.
Yeah, good.
Just because it feels better when you finally get there.
Good. Mick Wendell's asked, since the event exploded, would you consider more rounds next year? So that's the thing that you've obviously seen from the LVO this weekend. I know you didn't see the coverage, you didn't get to watch it, you didn't even know it was on because they didn't particularly advertise it very well in your opinion. So would you say would you ever want to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday or not?
So it is difficult getting the differentiators between that many people because you can obviously have a few people winning 5 games and then you've got to decide the winner out of that lot.
Yeah.
I would consider it if 200 people said I want to come and play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. Absolutely do it. Not a problem for me. I don't believe there's the market for a 3-day event, personally. Now, other people do things, so they have run a 1,000-point event, or they do one of those funny ball games that GW brought out, that whatever they are.
Big shout out to John Bracken, my friend.
Yeah, so they run something like that on the Friday night or whatever, but Friday is generally, I think, about getting there after work and making sure you're ready for Saturday. or spending the last few hours with the wife, making sure she's happy. So, but yeah, I've got
You're a big family man, right? You got a couple of kids?
I have a couple of kids and then another couple of kids.
Oh, nice. Nice. But you are a big family man. You talk about that a lot, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, that's part of the reason why I can't do tournaments every weekend and things like that. So,
oh yeah, Nathan, I forgot to tell you my plan.
He's going to have a family.
Family
planning.
You and Andy. That's nice.
He's going to start leaving it in. That's his plan.
I know that there are some more questions in the chat.
You know that Andy can't give birth, right?
I will get to them.
He's got nice windows.
I'll tell you the plan after. Let me tell you the plan after. Let me read the questions in the chat because there was a couple.
What's the question? All right.
There was a question. Number one was from Tristan Gray.
Yeah, I got lots of questions.
The first question is from Jerk Can. Why did Rob miss out the start of the other question, which was from Tristan Gray? And the reason I missed
What was the start of the question?
The start of the question is because I couldn't be asked with this conversation. So that's the answer to that question. And the question is, what's up with Bobo Games Workshop? Anything get worked out yet? Question mark.
Oh yeah, so I did. We put in an email to say, we're running a tournament. Got an email back saying, that's excellent. We like to build up our relationship over a number of years. So we would like. Would you like to tell us how we can support you? And then we will review that and see how our relationship develops.
Okay.
And so I responded to that and said, whatever you've got would be great.
So Clint over at CanCon built up the entire CanCon, world's largest event, without any support at all, even though he asked for support. You built up Bobo to be, this year, more than likely the Age of Sigmar's, the UK's biggest Age of Sigmar event, without any support. So I don't understand realistically why at this stage, this is me saying it, why it would even be a factor. Like, it's nice having the support, but you've already got support from loads of other people around you. Like the WS10 boys bought loads of terrain, right? And mats. Like people volunteer their time to help and carry stuff. Everyone's like Bishmeister, yeah? Lovely man came and do paint judging one year. Like, there's loads of support you already have. So I don't really understand why it's a conversation.
I think there's a big debate around it. So when GW first said about endorsing events, I was actually anti it because for me, if you're endorsing some events, you are conversely not endorsing others. Mm-hmm. And by not endorsing them, that doesn't make them worse, but I believe it gives a view that potentially they're worse because they haven't got backing. Mm-hmm. So I was never in favour of that because it's a little bit elitist.
It's the same with the hobby hero thing. Now, I think that there are loads of hobby heroes in this hobby, and it's most of the people who I know.
I haven't seen any.
I'm all men. You're mine, Nathan. It's one of those things. And the more I travel around, like I meet loads of hobby heroes. Now, obviously, Games Workshop give out Hobby Hero Award, and there are some people who do go above and beyond, or are generally just like, if you were to take all of humanity, they're just pretty top blokes or ladies. That's ace. But I don't really like it as a thing because I don't really know why, like, other than like a great mention or like a box of product or like, a bunch of other stuff that you could do. It just feels very much like it's an award system that's designed, in my opinion, just to be a political power piece. Just like, I'm giving you an award, and that's not to say anything about the people who are currently on that award system. I just think you probably could extend the hero list a fucking really long way.
I think, again, I don't see the review process that they go through. I'd like them to identify for me the guy that's been running a club for 6 13-year-olds after school every day for the last 2 years, so that they've got the facility and the place to play Warhammer. That, to me, is a hobby hero. Or the person that sold their painted model for 50 quid so that he could donate that to charity. That is a hobby hero. Yeah. Someone that runs an event for whatever reason, for me, isn't a hobby hero. Not unless it's sort of charity-based, potentially.
So that would be someone like Mike, who runs Nova. So Mike runs Nova, and that's almost always for... No, I think the entire thing is orientated around charity.
Yeah, cool. So if it's all for charity, absolutely, that's a hobby hero. Yeah. If it's somebody that's developed an app, yeah, it's nice that there's a tool there for people to use and that sort of thing.
Big shout out to Tony P for War Scroll Builder. Still, he's one of my hobby heroes.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Absolutely, but it's a great thing that everybody used, but I don't know. It's, for me, It should be about, I don't know, really the impact to those that can't necessarily have access to it potentially and things like that, rather than just I've done something that profits.
I'm not saying that people aren't deserving. I just think the list of people deserving is quite big, which is why I'm not super for it. That's my only real, and that's what I said at the announcement of it. If you go back and listen to that podcast whenever we did it, and it's still my feeling now. Like I think when you're talking about a hobby very specifically, I think it just hurts me a little bit when I see a short list of names and I think that doesn't seem really fair, because I know loads of great people who are having like hard times. Or are having great times and they're being very generous with those good times, whatever it might be. There's loads of really great people in this hobby, and I don't like the idea of just like singling a few out. It's nice, don't get me wrong, like the gesture is sweet. I just kind of like it feels like you said with the events, if you recognise some, you're not recognising all, and that upsets me.
Yeah, fair.
Because there's a whole bunch of people whose names should be on the list, in my opinion, and then someone else's list in someone else's opinion.
I think the difference is, I think the awards for people is coming from a good place. GW want to recognise people that are doing something for the hobby, which is great, whether that be, in my view, charitable or whatever, or somebody else's view, a tool that people can use. The difference between that and events is what distinguishes whether they give it to an event or not. And for me, that's a more cynical award to give, rather than who's done something for the hobby. Because again, if I put on a tournament for 10 people that potentially couldn't have otherwise got to a tournament, then that should be endorsed. It shouldn't be based on the fact it's got 500 people going.
That's fair. Jester LTD says, I'm my own hobby hero for keeping my pile of shame alive for so long. I think we're all hobby heroes under that metric, right? And also, Jim98 says, playing my second game of AOS tonight with Charles Black. He's a fucking hobby legend, so he's over in Oz. We're actually we're doing a podcast this week, me and Charles. We're going to have a row. We're going to have a row about the FAQ. Yeah, so he's held a grudge ever since we did the FAQ show, and now he's come back and we're having a fight. Now it's going to be fun.
Good.
I really like Charles. He's a real nice player. He's the guy that gave us the
Tasman Cup shirts.
Cup shirts, yeah, a real nice guy. Right, evening everyone. Okay, cool. All right, nice. I think that was good. We answered that question quite.
Well, we went off a bit, didn't we? But the answer is we're waiting to hear.
That came up this weekend. That came up this weekend as well.
On and on and on.
Yeah.
Nathan, everyone in the Twitch chat has to nominate a hobby hero right now. Nathan, who's yours?
Who's my hobby hero?
John, who's yours? Obviously, it will be the follow-up question.
Johan.
Johan from Sweden.
No, Johan, the guy that's running away from the giant.
No, he's a little model who's an actual.
I don't think he's got the hero keyword.
He has not got the hero keyword. Who's an actual hobby person you like?
Should be.
Name a hobby person you like.
No. Otherwise, everybody will get triggered.
Well, you've already been nominated. Alex Lay says Tim Willoughby.
I've got a hobby hero. Come here.
Yeah.
Come on. There we go.
B-Chad, what was the Stormcast Eternal list shooting earlier
hobby
in the
hero.
cast? We'll make sure we'll include it in the show notes for you later. Let's Play says Tristan Gray is a hobby hero of his. He taught me a lot, and he's always on my case for not doing my bases. Speckles says it's AD Mac. Hobby hero, the average friendly local game store owner. Without them, there would be no game, says Dr. Vulcan. I think that's fair. Jester says Doggo. Morehammer Liam says Hellstorm Mikey. Hook and Pin says Dog. Elwina says Jet also. So basically the dog. Yeah, just the dog. So everyone's like, yeah, just the dog. High Truthiness. And then Provoke Tree says the Rune Lord model.
Which one?
Oh my god, no one cares. Fluffhammer says Paul Buckler.
Yeah.
And then
there's so many, aren't there?
JJ Number says Vincent Treller. Mick Wendell says.
Sure, everybody's robust enough to be able to take it. I mean, there's all the guys that do Raw are solid heroes.
They're great guys. We're going to try and do Raw coverage. We're going to try and do a narrative.
Fuck off, I want to play in that.
No, you can play in it because doing the Raw coverage requires. Listen, doing the Raw coverage requires words, and you, as a wordsmith, are laconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying hard.
No, and I respect that a lot, and I appreciate it loads. Jet, you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right, we'll move on to the next thing. So I think we've answered all the questions for John. Thanks for being on the show. We appreciate that loads. Nate, let's move on to doing a rundown.
Let's do some fun stuff.
Let's do some fun stuff. Let's talk about Warhammer.
Whoop, whoop.
Have you broken the microphone?
Yeah.
Every time.
Have I?
Okay. How can I forget Lofthammer? He's my hero, says Alwina.
Lofthammer is amazing.
Yeah.
To actually be out playing with his physical impairments is something that we should all,
Dr. Vulcan,
all aspire to.
Thank you for donating $5. Treat for the dog. Dog is the best one here. We all agree.
Yeah.
We all agree. All right, Nathan, you got your rundown prepared.
I have.
We haven't done a rundown in a while. I'm excited.
Yeah. What one are you doing?
I am doing the Black Coach from the
Black
Nighthawk.
what?
Yeah, from the Black Coach from the Nighthawk.
It's not what he said when he WhatsApped me.
Was it auto-corrected?
Yeah.
The Black Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I might stop this podcast actually. Well, no, we'll stay live, but I'll stop the podcast. If you've been listening,
tell you what he sent me.
Why are you stopping the podcast
oh,
for?
fuck it. Oh no, I was stopping the recording, but we'll just do it all in one go. So people will have to scrub through, and they'll be like, listen, ignore the first 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Is it because people don't like 3-hour podcasts?
Apparently, although people listen to us all the time.
All right.
But we never do 3-hour podcasts.
We do.
Do we?
We sometimes do 4-hour podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's wrong uns.
Or are you planning on going home, John?
No, there's a number of comments I could make, and I'm being well behaved.
Oh, good. Timestamp it. So, at 1 minute 50. Someone write that
slowly, catchy monkey.
down. Yeah. Right, Nathan.
What are you doing a rundown on?
John's not doing one.
I'm not doing one.
He's a guest. He's done a rundown.
I don't
on
get
Bobo.
to do a rundown.
Do you want to do
I can run down some people in the community.
Yeah. You do.
Come on.
Am I going first or you?
Well, who do you want to go first?
Flick a coin. Heads or tails?
It's terrible TV, but I'm in for it.
There we go.
Let's do it.
Right. Heads
Can we
or...
can we have a discussion about the fact we're flipping a coin when all of our viewership are into double rolling
heads
dice?
or tails?
You fucking idiot.
Fuck you.
Tails.
What dice have you got?
Tails it is.
Do I win then?
Yes.
Or I get choice? First go. Who goes first?
Whatever.
All right, I'm doing mine first.
You can deploy
This
first.
rundown, everybody, will be done on the Black Coach from the Nighthawk Battletome. Right. Okay.
It's not what you said in your WhatsApp chat.
John, do you know how?
Yes.
Yes.
Move on.
Do you know how we do rundowns?
Have
Do
you
know
ever
the
listened to
process?
one?
Have you ever listened to a rundown?
Yes, I have.
And how do they start?
They always start with you describing the unit.
Picture.
No. Everyone in the Twitch chat, how do we start a rundown? Nathan, how do we start a rundown?
At the beginning.
At the beginning, but what does the beginning start with?
We talk about the colour of their eyeballs.
We start with the story.
This is what I said that.
Yes.
No, you said the picture.
No, we didn't say the picture.
All right.
I said the picture just to throw you off.
Let's Play says the fluff.
He
That's
listens
correct. We
to
do the
me too many
narrative.
times.
The narrative.
The narrative. And I
Otherwise-
shall begin the reading of the narrative of the Black Coach.
Excellent.
Okay.
When was he born?
Well, it's more when he died, really.
When was he conceived?
Yeah, so the narrative is, the Black Coach is the mightiest blow or spell can unbind the spirits of the undead, destroying them.
I didn't realise
Well,
we
I
had
don't
to
know
read
what that
stories. Yeah.
However, the most powerful of these creatures,
Stupid
most
fucking-
notably soul-blight vampires, lich lords, or the most adept necromancers, can survive the destruction of
He's not
their
even speaking English.
material form. Driven by a dark will, their malevolent animus begins to gather and reform a new physical shell.
So they're like poltergeists.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're ghosts because it's from the Ghost Battletome.
Yeah.
And what do we say to ghosts?
Piss off.
This is so much better with 2 other children in the room. Children, what do we say to ghosts? Piss off, ghosts!
I found the story.
Have you got it?
I forgot about that.
The Black Coaches are funerary carriages.
Easy for you to say.
No problem. From the underworlds, within these arcane vehicles, any tangible remains, be they ashes, what someone's infinite catchy has clipped, You, John, looking for the fly that's flying around the studio.
It's doing my tits in.
Anyway, the black coaches are funerary carriages from the underworlds. Within these arcane vehicles, any tangible remains, be they ashes, bones, or leathery scraps of skin.
Flowers. Do you think some of them are like really dried out mum bouquets? Like you see on the side of hearses that come by?
Potentially. Although I don't think the mortal realms are full of the...
Well, mums die.
This is dark. But be they...
All the time.
All the time.
They are gathered in a casket that offers a safe haven in which the banished entity can reform. The dormant occupant can feed upon the energies of death, drinking in agony and grief in order to grow stronger.
There's not much of a story, really, is it?
So they're trapped in a hearse. Someone's died, and they're super angry, so they climb into a hearse where they can slowly reform.
Yes. Well,
so it's a bit like
use the energies of a
reform. What?
Dracula 2001.
Yeah.
Have you seen that film?
No.
Where he's on the plane, and then he sucks the blood out of everyone on the plane, and he gets stronger.
So
the plane in that instance is like the black coach.
Okay, maybe that's where they got the story from.
Could be.
That's actually...
That'd be
and also, a good point, provocatory. Question, Nathan. Is the black coach a chariot?
No, it's a coach.
And why is it not a chariot?
It's a coach.
Because it's got 4 wheels.
And what is the definition of a chariot, John?
It's got 2 wheels.
You guys are...
And it's pulled by something.
And so the best... And everyone knows what the best chariot in Age of Sigmar is?
Corpse cart.
Corpse cart. Nathan, thoughts? Pulled by 4 skeletal nightmare steeds, the black coach speeds forward at considerable pace. The driver is a cairn wraith who either wields a 2-handed reaper scythe or employs the nightmarish soul reach grasp, and so forth and so on. It's effectively a dark coach that travels around empowering and stealing the life force from a dead dude.
Dead dudes or live dudes?
Dead. Well, undead.
Because technically what it should do then, it should actually debuff the...
No, because they draw energy from it.
Yeah, so you're making the rest of the dead dudes in the army worse. Because they're sapping their energy.
Nicking all the energy.
Oh, okay.
So it should actually make them like -1 to hit if it's too close.
Alright, nice. Okay. Well, no, but they use it to power themselves. So it's like a battery. Makes a torch. A battery doesn't make everything else darker. It makes a torch brighter.
It does if you link it to everything else to power it.
I'm stopping this conversation. I'm moving on. What do you guys think of the story?
Am I right, chat?
Sucks balls.
Twitch chat, am I right about that? Fucking, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's too many words.
Is Tristan okay? Yeah,
it's against the laws of physics.
So it's against the law of physics. That's your thought, Nathan. What do you think?
Not enough squigs.
Not enough squigs. All right, fair. Twitch chat says Mick Wendell says yes. So we're moving on. I like the story. I think it's cool. Yeah. But they did have a black coach model before. They had to upgrade to a new black coach, and then they were like, we need to come up with a. They don't have much of a story.
I don't like it. Why are they trapped in a black coach? I think it would be good if they were like sent to the underworld in a black coach. And then they came back in a black coach. I think it should just be like a ferry from the underworld that brings malevolent spirits up to the surface.
Like a teleport.
Like the ferryman that takes you to the next world.
Across the...
That's better.
So a black boat.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie, if I'm a powerful and extremely malevolent spirit, why am I climbing in the back of a fucking cart?
Well, you're dead. You're being carried. Your remains are being carried. Maybe your finger. You died. You're a powerful necromancer. Someone chopped off your finger. They've put it inside of a casket, and then they're travelling around with it, using that power to like create more spooky power.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Alright.
Stop. Rubbish.
Question to Rob. Did you have your casket open or closed? I closed my casket.
I read the Gotrek and Felix one where there was a black coach. That was a cool story.
Yeah.
They went and smashed the fucker up.
Did they?
Pretty much.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. So, but after the story, what do we do next in a rundown?
Smash it up.
No.
Oh, no, that's a different story.
What we do
Talk about the model.
Talk about the model.
We talk about the model.
Woohoo! We're remembering how to do this. So what do you guys think of the model?
It's better than the old one. It's quite big as well.
It's massive. It's
quite big.
Yeah. Nath, what do you think?
Yeah, it's quite pretty if you like that.
If I was into death, I would have one because I think it's quite cool.
Looks cool.
And then it would sit on my shelf.
It's very dynamic, I think. It's got loads of cool elements to it. It's real sweet.
We had one at Crim Bobo that had fairy lights all over it. Looked quite cool.
Oh, that's nice. So what do you think about the... So obviously Carriage and Overlords have got their boats.
Yeah.
And this coach is almost as big as, as their skyships.
Sorry, my Peroni's coming back.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, their boat is almost as... the coach is almost as big as the skyships. What do you think of that?
Big coach.
Yeah, it is a big coach.
Can it carry 20 dwarfs?
No. It carries one undead vampire.
I don't know. What do you want us to say?
I'm not looking for anything. Just your opinion.
Which
do you like it?
Which
Or do you
boat
not-
is it the size of? Is it a frigate?
Huh?
Is it the same size as gun hauler?
It's bigger.
I don't
bigger.
know.
It's
Like
bigger.
the
Has
coach
anyone ever
part.
seen a gun hauler?
Oh, the coach part.
Yeah.
Yeah, about as big as a gun hauler. Yeah,
Right.
And then the horses. How big are the horses?
way big,
Are they as big as eels?
bigger than eels.
So I think if you were... If
One
you
and
were,
a half eels.
I think if you're going to ride an eel, it would have to be quite big. A horse is about horse size normally. So.
Horse, definitely. Because if it's smaller than a horse, it's a pony. So it has to be horse-sized. What's interesting is they're measured in hands, aren't they, horses?
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I mean, if you measure the
Because what you do is you find a big fuck-off animal and you go, oh, how do I measure that? I don't know, I'm going to fucking go like this. Oh, it's 10 of them.
10 hands.
10 hands
So
tall.
dwarven hands, though, it would be 20 dwarven hands.
They might have big hands, dwarves.
Huh? No.
Actually, they tend to have big hands and big heads.
No, they've got teeny fingers, haven't they, for shooting their guns?
No,
You don't need small fingers to shoot guns.
dwarves don't.
What do you think? No.
You're thinking of children.
Homeless.
Toddlers have little hands.
Toddlers do have little hands.
Dwarves are like, they can be fully
They've
grown.
got big hands. Yeah,
Big
Like
hands.
Tyrion Lannister.
yeah.
Yeah.
Got big hands.
Okay.
You know
alright.
what they say? You've got big hands.
Little legs and body.
Good.
Big
Alright.
hands, smaller horses. That's what they say.
Right. So, but do you like the model? Twitch chat, do you like the model?
Yes.
Yeah, leave comments below on YouTube if you like the model. I like the model. I
Thumb
think
up
it's
for
great.
the model.
It's very complicated though, and I think you must...
Narrative model.
Narrative 0 model.
What was
up.
your narrative? Was up anyway,
I
wasn't
like the
it?
narrative.
You like the narrative, don't you?
I like the narrative.
There were so
feeling it.
many big words.
Yeah. Funerary was a good word.
Funerary.
Not even real words, most of them.
That's a real word.
Yeah.
Elmbirds loves it, and then Truthiness says, of course. So I imagine that she likes it, or he likes it too. Truthiness, I'm sorry.
Is truthiness a male or a female? Please answer truthiness.
Please answer with your truthiness.
Truthfully. Why do we need to know?
What I also really like about the kit, but you do have to build. I would say you do have to build and paint it in stages because it's actually quite convoluted because it's a box.
Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really good. Also, hi Paul Bastian, you gorgeous.
You have to what? Build it in stages.
Yeah, well,
Stagecoaches.
yeah.
Stage. It's a stagecoach.
What? You two are a nightmare.
That was good.
I should have thought this through.
I like that. Stagecoach.
Right. Also, Elmbirds has linked one in the chat if you guys want to click it because it's a real good version.
Can I do that on here?
Just
What
click
can I
it.
do?
Yeah, you can put links on honest-wargamer.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I'm
click
going to watch more often and put porn in.
Don't do that, John. Please. What do you guys think?
That's nice. I like the Slanesh models behind. That's cool.
Oh, that is my one issue.
The Slanesh models
No,
behind.
that it overhangs the base. Not a fan of that.
Oh, I like that. I like that. It's quite dynamic, like Nathan said. I think
It is dynamic, but it comes to problems when you're trying to pile in and stuff.
Yeah, which is what. Yeah,
a bit annoying.
that's fair. Yeah, it is much easier to put together than Spirit Hosts. The only reason I wouldn't. So after the model,
How do I
what
get rid of that
we do
picture
next?
now? How'd you get rid of the picture?
You close the tab. Oh no,
Push
two
that
people with
cross thing.
No, because that's going to get rid of all of it.
No, yeah, well, you want to get rid of all of it.
Oh, yeah, no, there we go.
Yeah, see? I've got the skills. Why are we so blurry?
You're not blurry.
We
Oh, we are, because I'm streaming through my phone.
Oh right, good.
Because you didn't give me the Wi-Fi password.
So sorry. Right, so next up we do. Oh, Dr. Vulcan, thanks for donating $5. And then there's some text coming with it. Get ready. The issue you'll have with most of the new models is the single pose. They come in, it makes running multiples of them less than ideal compared to some of the multi-kits. I appreciated the new Mangler Squig was dual pros. Is it?
Yes. In fact, you could do it 4 different ways.
Really?
Can
as
you?
well, because it's got faceplates as well, so you can
It has got faceplates, yeah.
chop and change it.
Get yourself some green stuff as well, because they have big seams in them.
No.
Well, you're listening. Can you hear
your
me?
one's
Yeah,
got
no,
seams
yeah.
in it.
Yeah, when you stick the plate in it, it's like it's still got big fucking edges.
I did mine without the plates on, so no seams on mine.
Oh.
Seamless.
I need to have a look because I've got 3 more I've ordered, so I can in fact build it in all 4 versions. If there's 4 versions.
Yeah, because you can have 4 Mangler Squig as well, can't you? That's cool. Like in an army build.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Gonna fuck up those shooting armies.
Yeah.
They will. They fucking fly like the wind.
Yeah.
Shit.
Do they
Go
fly
lie
like the
down.
wind?
They do.
They
Does the
do.
wind fly?
Yep.
Don't things fly on the wind?
Well, how does
Stop
the wind
being
travel
so
around?
pedantic.
You were the one you're always pedantic with me.
Yeah, that's-
Wind doesn't fly, but things fly on wind.
Of course
What-
wind
okay,
flies.
what is flying?
How does it get across?
Flying is moving through the air.
We are not
the wind
flying.
moves through
How
the air.
does the chariot fly?
It
Well,
doesn't.
it doesn't.
It's a fictional piece of
fucking
shit.
bullshit.
Fictional's not a word.
Fictional.
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 Fictional. Whatever word you want to say. It's a load of...
The wind is not fiction.
Tristan Gray's asking for a recap. If you'd like to know,
Wind
you're
is
the-
real
you're the
and it
honest wargamer.
flies through the air.
This is John, Rob, and Nathan. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Tristan.
Tristan loves a good recap.
I bet you wish your name was Christian,
Why?
because then he'd be Christian Grey, and he'd be pummeling students in his house of fun. But you're Tristan Grey, so you play Warhammer. It's not as good. I mean, you won't get a film out of it.
Jonathan Atlan, by the way, has just been dropping some knowledge on you in the chat there, Nathan. With some
Fictional
English.
jump to navigation jump to search English adjective fictional. Comparative more fictional. Superlative most fictional. Misspelling of fictional.
Nice.
Thanks, John.
Thanks,
Thank you.
John. Appreciate that. A brother from another brother. Right, so let's talk about the rules for the Black Coach.
I don't think he was emotionally ready for that. Like,
You excited about the rules?
Tristan would probably ban you.
I'm just going to read them out. So he's got 12 wounds.
Are we doing rules
that's okay.
The rules.
Rules.
This is the third part of a rundown. The rules.
Yeah.
12 wounds with a 4-up save. It's not bad. And don't forget, because it's ethereal, you can't modify that.
and you're
save.
probably not going to target it.
Why would that be, John?
It's not very good.
Okay, wow, that's harsh. And it's got bravery 10, so it's fairly survivable, and it moves.
So it will never battle shock.
It will never battle shock because it's a single model, just like me.
You can't take them in units.
You can't take them in units. That would be cool though if you could, because then you'd be like a stagecoach, like when they settled America.
They didn't do it in
What?
stagecoaches.
Are you like if
They're
they're coming?
coaches though, them little like
What would be-
coaches with
Those
the
were
white.
wagons.
Get
Get it right.
Paint your
Wagon,
wagons.
coach. Different
A wagon?
thing. Yes.
Wagons, yeah.
Wagons.
Well, what when they form a circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that, but then you'd have to be attacked by. There aren't any Indian factions.
Wow, what would they be? There's nothing you can say that's safe there,
Yeah.
so stop.
Besides, they would be wagons and not coaches. You wouldn't do it.
No,
You wouldn't do it with the coach.
no,
So you could find some cowboys, carriage and overlords.
no. They're not cowboys.
Kind of like they're the closest thing to cowboys.
No,
really.
they don't herd cattle at all. They live in the sky. There's no
What
cattle
I
in
know,
the sky.
I know. Gene Stealer Colts. They've got those new cowboy Gene Stealer Colts.
Yeah, but that's a different game.
Do they herd
Wow.
cows?
What about Spider Fang?
Well,
They could
apparently,
be.
they
could
dress
be
like it.
Indigenous peoples of
They're
America.
dressed like cows.
They do have feathers in their hair.
Yeah,
some of
that
them.
is the tenuous link that we tried to make.
And spears.
we're
And
back
bows and
out.
arrows.
And everyone back out of this conversation.
Bows and arrows.
There's 14-inch movement, and it flies.
It's quite quick.
It's very quick. Yeah.
14 inches, very quick.
Yeah, very quick, which is cool. It's got Frightful Touch, which is the unmodified hit roll for an attack with the Cairn Race Reaper side is a 6, and it inflicts 2 mortal wounds, just straight off the bat, which is cool. And of them, he has 3 attacks that he have 4s. But if you get any 6s, it's 2 mortal wounds, and it's 4s, 3s, rend of 1, and doing 2 damage with the Reaper scythe. Is that good or bad? Or you're not okay with it?
It's nothing to write home about.
Okay.
3 attacks on 4s. 1 through.
Oh, Seraphon, they're kind of more Incan though, aren't they?
Yeah. No, they've gone too far north if the Seraphon are attacking.
Yeah.
So.
Besides, the Seraphon are all dead from colds and stuff that have been introduced long before that.
Right. In addition, the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the Relic Bearer's Spectral Claws is a 6. Then that also adds that does a mortal wound, and there are 9 Spectral Claws initially, and then that reduces as it gets more wounded.
9.
As they hoover up some of those ghosts. So 9 attacks, and any 6s are a mortal wound. Otherwise, they're 4s and 4s, rend of 1, and do 1 damage. So not very much.
No, it's not the best.
No.
You don't want to chuck him forward in an alpha attack.
No, not so far. However, he has the reason it has a very cool rule. I think the Evocation of Death, which is at the start of each battle round, you roll 3 dice, and for each black coach on the battlefield, for each 4+, the black coach gains a level of power. Levels of power are cumulative and last for the rest of the battle, and they grant the following abilities. So you've got 1 to 5, which is sweet. And the first one is in your hero phase, heal D3 wounds that have been allocated to this model. That's pretty great. So it heals D3. And then at the start of each battle round, so it means even from the first turn. So potentially this thing, even if you wound it a bit, healing D3, being unrenderable is pretty good. And in addition, at the start of your hero phase, pick 1 friendly summonable Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12 inches of this model and return D3 slain models to that unit. The returning models must be set within 12 inches of this model.
That's if you do what?
So in order to get the first power level, what you do, so in the first battle round, so if you have a black coach, turn 1, you roll 3 dice, and if any of them are 4+, then you've got the first level, and then you get that. You get the ability to pick a unit within 12 inches.
So it goes up a level per battle round.
Well, no, however many 4+. You can go up 3 levels in the first battle round, realistically.
But can you choose to use only level 1?
No, because there's no negatives. No, it gets it for the... So imagine it gains
so
that
it's
ability.
cumulative.
It's cumulative.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's cool, right?
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah. And this is probably the reason I'm doing the rundown on it, because I think that could be a really cool ability. Because there used to be a really old Flesh Eater Courts build, where what you would do is you would take 12 Crypt Ghouls, and then you would have some Vargheasts behind it, and then you would just keep healing the 12 Crypt Ghouls. Mm-hmm. But being able to heal D3 Spirit Hosts, which are 3 wound models. Are
they the highest wound summonable model?
Yes, they're the highest wound summonable model.
So that's what you'd try and heal.
Yeah. So thanks, Paul Bastian, for subscribing. Superstar. So yeah, I think that would. I think that's really good, because effectively, what you put between 3 and 9 wounds back into a Spirit Host unit with this model just on its own, which is quite good, because obviously you buy them in units of 3, and I think they're about 140 points. So that's actually quite impactful. No.
Potential. So if you can bring back 3 of them, then you've halved the cost of your black coach.
Yeah. And
so if you do that twice, then you've paid for your black coach.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet, and also as a heal mechanic, I think that's actually pretty big. Then in the second level, reroll hit rolls of 1 for this model's melee weapons. In addition, this unit can run and charge in the same turn, and its other attacks, by the way, it's got shooting attack that's 10 inches, 3s and 3s, Ren 3, D3 damage. Which is cool. It's 10
1
inch
shot.
range. 1 shot. And obviously it moves 14, so it's a 24-inch range on that. That's all right.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It's pretty good. And then you've got a third level. After the model's completed a charge move, pick an enemy within an inch and roll a dice on a 2+. That model suffers D3 mortal wounds. So you could potentially have that all the way in the first turn. So make a charge and then do D3 mortal wounds as well as everything else. Yeah. And then the fourth level, this model can retreat and charge in the same turn. So that starts to make it quite mobile, really, with that move 14. And then in the fifth level, Witchfire. In your hero phase, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of this model. On a 4+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So by turn 2 or 3, you could potentially be throwing this into like a big combat, and then just doing damage around in the hero phase, which is, I think, alright. And then final rule, reroll failed hit rolls for attacks made with this model's Reaper Scythe if the unit has 5 or more models. And that's it. That's all the rules. So what do you think about it on its own? People are worried about that cut in your hand, Dave. What do you think?
What's wrong?
I think it sounds interesting to use. I'm not sure I immediately can think of a use for it, other than if you're trying to use it for healing models.
Well, I think that's what I would...
I don't believe it's useful to run and charge or retreat and charge, but it's not very punchy when it gets there. So all you're really doing is trying to tag things and slow them down.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think it necessarily... I mean, if we go along the old, you can kill Nagash with it, Nath, you potentially can do D3 damage in combat, so that's 3 from shooting. And then you could do 6 damage from the Reaper Scythe, so 9. And then you've got D3 damage from the 1 attack on the Kenray Soul Reaper Gas, so another 3. Then you've got 9 attacks from the Spectral Claws, so another 9 damage. And then you got 8 attacks from the Nightmare Hooves, so the Horsies, so another 8 damage. So you could kill
do D3 on the charge, your impact hits. So, I mean, it's quite quick. So, like, if you're going to double charge with, like...
You chuck in the 5 Liberators.
A dragon and this guy, and you want the chaff screen clearing out. You could go in, clear the chaff, and then the dragon can pile in past into the juicy stuff behind.
Yeah. Well, the reason... chuck into 10 skinks that are claiming, and they're not claiming anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's...
And it's fairly mobile, so again, also for getting behind lines and start threatening those units behind. But I mean, the Death Army's got mobile things in the Vampire Lords, but then sometimes you want to... I don't know, it depends again on the points, doesn't it? Because the Vampire Lords are just, really scary in a fight, so they're probably going to be...
Which these aren't, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
you wouldn't want one of these running around your back lines because it would be picking off support heroes left, right, and centre.
Which is So thank you, Labinski. You can either have the shooting attack or the combat attack. You cannot have one or the other. Yeah. So for me, the reason that I think it's really, really interesting is its speed. It's the 12 wounds with the 4-up unrendable save. And Dragons is a good one that you pointed out. Like anything that goes through and does like really good rend, I would send the Black Coach at it, because all I've got to do is just make some pretty decent saves. Well, not even decent saves. Like half of the time, I'm just reducing that damage. Yeah. And I do that with my my Kadai, who have a 5-up unrendable save all the time. Anyway, that's my tactic, and it's really good for holding those things up. So it means that your kind of softer stuff, although the Nighthawk doesn't have it, is free.
And it heals. So if you roll you roll the first 4 up, then it just starts healing every turn,
which is quite big.
Wounds. So that's quite good.
Yeah, and
it's quite tanky.
I was building one last week, so doing the rundowns. But the reason I was building one is because I wanted. So it's a beautiful model. I know my friend Speckles is getting one. So the reason I wanted to do a rundown on it was like, how best can you use it in the game. Now, obviously, we do loads of like top tier tournament coverage, and we talk about those builds. But it's like, this is not the most optimal choice in the Nighthawk book, I don't think. But you could do an interesting build with it, and I think it's based around being able to return D3 models to a unit.
Yeah.
Because if you were to take 2, and there's also a command trait that you can have for the characters in this book, which does the same thing. So you could be doing 3D3 Spirit Host units, or Hexrays, because they've also got 2 wounds and a summonable, back into a unit every hero phase. That's actually quite big.
Yeah, but it is just returning slain models. It's not growing new models.
No. Yeah. No, but like, if you just had a big block and you send it off for the fight, being able to heal those guys back in, or having multiple of those units and they keep popping up, I think that's really solid. Yeah?
So, obviously depends on the points a lot, but...
So 280 points
with the shooting meta, that's very important.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because
it can keep up with your hex rates.
Yeah.
And,
so good that you spoke about that, because you can take it in a formation which is quite cool, called the Death Riders formation, which is a Dreadblade Harrow, 1 to 2 of them, 2 units of Hex Wraith, and a Black Coach. Now, the allegiance ability for Nighthorn is that if you ever roll a 10 to charge, then you get to attack once and then attack again. So that definitely will clear like Liberator units and chaff screens, right? Which is like probably what you would use this thing to do. In this formation, if you roll a 9, then you go through those. Then you get to do it, as opposed to a 10. You also require 2 units of Hex Wraith and a Black Coach, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the Black Coach works quite well with Hex Wraith, I guess.
Yeah. Happy with that?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's quite fun. It's not amazing, but it's quite fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like, okay, right, that's pretty cool. because it can go off and do those big charges. I quite like that.
280.
Huh?
280.
280. Yeah. I mean, if you had, do you think 2 of them is too much?
Yeah, probably. You'd probably want to invest in something a bit more choppy. I mean, I think 280 is maybe slightly too much.
Yeah, I think it's too much for it on its own.
Yeah.
You could
Maybe
probably knock
260,
40 points off, probably.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't think I'd take 2.
Yeah.
So some of the abilities you can give to it are you can have. Let me go to my notes. I'll make sure I get this right. You can have a Knight of Shrouds, which is really cool, and he's got Spectral Overseer, which is +1 to hit while wholly within 12 inches of this model in the combat phase. So the Knight of Shrouds command ability. So he's going to make all of those attacks +1 to hit, which makes him a little bit more reliable, which is decent. And then the Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed adds +1 attack in the combat phase to all melee weapons.
Right.
So all those attacks will get +1 attack. So I quite like that inside that formation, because if it happens to go off, if I have the Knight of Shroud inside that formation, if I roll a 9, +1 attacks on all those, charge in, attack twice. It's not quite Crypt Ghouls, but it's alright.
What's the range on the Shroud?
On the
Knight of Shrouds.
12 inches.
12 inches.
Yeah, but he's on a horse, so he'll be running along with them.
He's
anyway.
fast.
Right.
He's real fast.
Yeah, so you'll have all of them moving quite quickly. The Hex Wraiths and the coach and this dude on his horse.
Yeah.
Which is about the same size as a horse.
Yeah, I like it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I just think the unrenderable save is good, and also for going in like punching objectives, and it's big. Something that happened at the the tournament LVO this weekend in 40k was this thing called move blocking. So so they had a bunch of flyers, and they literally just held up space on the board. So it's board control really, because it's on a giant base. Mm-hmm. And then it's not the easiest thing to work. And you pointed out, John, you probably will go and fight. Like if you had a unit of 30 Reapers in a Nighthorn army, or you had the coach, you're going to try and go and punch the Reapers, right? But that means you can use the coach, control board space. You're like, I don't really want to fight that, but you can use it to block stuff off, which I think is quite actually smart and interesting. Mm-hmm. No?
I think it'd be fun in a 1-dayer. I don't think it would be great in a 2-dayer.
Big block of 12 Spirit Hosts and then get 3d3 back a turn.
They'll all be dead.
Or you think you could kill them all in a go?
All in one go. No, I don't know. Yeah, no, the healing thing is quite good, yeah. Especially if, because it's away from, it's a Nighthaunt, isn't it? So, yeah, it's great, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Nighthaunt, they struggle to get models back.
Yeah.
There are other ways. Alinda's got a spell. You can take a Nightmare Lantern guy with a spell. And speaking of other things you can take, if you take the Knight of Shrouds with the Mortality Glass, his spell allows units to run and charge, which eventually the Black Coach is able to get. But I built a few army lists that I thought were a little bit fun. One of them was 2 Black Coaches, 12 Spirit Hosts, 2 units of 5 Hex Wraiths, and a Lady Alinda. And that's only 17-20 points so far. And then I would just be trying to res those 12 Spirit Hosts back all the time and just kind of use them, because that's a lot of board space. 12 Spirit Hosts would take up a lot of space in a big line. And then the Black Coaches could fly over the top eventually, I was thinking.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts. You like them or hate them? Hate that idea?
I like it, the idea of it going with the other cavalry units altogether.
Well, that would be idea 2, where I've took 15 Hex Wraiths, 5 Hex Wraiths, the Black Coach, another Black Coach, the Death Riders Battalion, Geminids, 10 Chain Brass Horde, and then the Guardian Souls with the Mortality Glass twice. So what that would be, it's 15 Hex Wraiths in a kind of line, the 2 Guardian Souls Mortality Glasses, which means units within 9 inches can only charge on a single d6. So you either charge my big 30 wound 4-up save Hex Wraith unit, which is great. Then I can heal 3d3 of them back, which is cool. So get anything between 3 and 9 of them back if you even make the charge, which is fun. And if you don't make the charge, what's exciting is my general's got +3 to move. So those move 15 inches. They do mortal wounds as they move through units, and then they charge. And if I roll a 9, they're going to attack twice. Great fun. They got +1 attack on all their weapons. So that's loads of mortal wounds from the Hex Wraiths. And then they lock loads of units in combat, which is really fun. And then you heal them back, and then you've got the spell on the Guardian of Souls with Mortality Glass, which lets them run and still charge. So you just basically run through them all, charge, do mortal wounds, charge, do damage, die a bit, heal a bit, run away, do damage, charge again. And
does it include retreat and charge?
Includes retreat and charge, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so sorry, not run. So the spell lets you retreat and charge.
Okay, that's a great spell. That is.
Especially, and if their movement got +3 movement, so they're just all they're doing is like fighting, healing, running, fighting. So it's like constantly cavalry charges for 5 turns. Yeah, and if you roll any 9s, now it's going to be like you got 2 units.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
That'd be fun to play, right?
Yeah, that does sound good.
Yeah, that'd be fun to play.
Mobile.
Yeah, very mobile. Like 15-inch movement is big, then plus the D6 run and charge, or retreat and charge. That's big. Yeah. Shackles could work well in that list for even more movement control. Oh, that'd be horrible. Imagine that. Throw Shackles into that mix.
Yeah.
That would be fun. So I'm going to do. I'm in the process of writing the guide to that list. I'm going to put it on the honest-wargamer website. So when it's up, I'll tweet about it and we'll do a Facebook post. Or maybe put the link in the chat next week, but that's basically the kind of idea.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sound fun?
Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah. Oh, nice.
How many games do you think it will win a tournament?
3 games.
3 out of 5, yeah?
Yeah, because the problem is, so it's that 15-man block, 15-man Hex Wraith block has got 30 wounds, but there's probably like Bone Splitter units are just going to rain down arrows like they were going out of fashion, and that will be what clears them.
Just coming back into fashion.
Yeah, Gloom Spites. Yeah. So Gloom Spite with the amount of attacks that they can kick out, like in numbers, Daughters of Cain, and all those other units. So that would be quite challenging, realistically.
You reckon they'd still?
I think there's only 30 wounds. 15
30 wounds,
Hex Wraiths is 30 wounds.
4 up ethereal save.
4 up ethereal
So
save.
it's effectively 60 wounds, really, isn't
I mean, I have Geminids in the list, so you can throw that out, try and keep them a little bit safer. But it could be fun. I love the idea of just constantly charging, retreating. Because even if you're 3 inches away and you roll the 9 to charge, you still get to attack twice. And that could be, what did we say earlier? 15 without any dead is, with +1 attack, would be 45 attacks. Any 6s doing mortal wounds. If you roll a 9 to charge, you're doing that twice. So 90 attacks. That could be, and you've moved through them and done some mortal wounds as well.
Yeah.
Which is very ghosty.
It is.
I'm doing this a lot with my hand. I'm very conscious of it. But thankfully, it's not on the screen.
It's very flamboyant.
Anyway, that's my rundown. How do you rate my rundown out of 10? 4 ghosts. John, what do you think?
6 ghosts.
6 ghosts. Nice. Nath, what do you think? And how many do you think I'd win at a tournament with it?
2.
I reckon you're really shit with it. Because it's not a castle, is it? So
it is a castle, but it's a ghosty castle that moves. Because really what I'm using the black coach is for buffing.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a fun list, actually. I'd give it 7.5 ghosts.
Oh, nice, thanks. It's very thematic, right?
I think it looked cool. I'm just not sure it's got enough punch.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's quite a few mortal wounds. You're doing like 20 odd mortal wounds.
If you got the charge off, you'd be doing 15 mortal wounds from that unit, and that's not including the mortal wounds you do by running through.
The ones that you do. Yeah, you flip over and drop back 3 inches. So what do they do? A mortal wound on a 4-up or something like that?
Dr. Vulcan, thanks for donating another $8. And he said he's giving it 8 out of 10. Dr. Vulcan's way of getting us to read messages out now is by donating money. And I'm okay with it. Please continue that process. And also AJ has called it Rufio's Moving Castle. It's like Hal's Moving Castle, yeah. That's what I'm going to call the list. Thanks, OJ.
So how do they do mortal wounds? Is it just like a 4-up per model?
I will read it to you if that helps you out.
Yeah.
Just so I get this absolutely right. Hex Wraiths, Spirit Hosts, Hex Wraiths. So, Spectral Hunters. In your movement phase, immediately after this unit has moved, you can pick an enemy unit that has any models that a model from this unit is passed across. If you do so, roll a dice for each model from this unit that passed across it. For each roll of a 5, that enemy suffers 1 mortal wound. So you do 5 mortal wounds from 15. Which is quite big on a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you charge at something else. I think you could probably block stuff up really well. Quite a lot of board space.
Well, it sounds like board control is quite good. When you're resurrecting stuff, You can put them into special places.
Yeah, special places. You can surround the coaches. I like the idea that they're all swapped in. Then some coaches charge in, and then they take damage in the hero phase. Problem is actually games are a lot more dynamic than that, and units are everywhere, and that would actually probably be
And
quite
the shooting meta's back.
And the shooting meta's back. Yeah. But that is a solid name, so thank you, OJ. That's really cool. Rufio's Moving Castle. So I'm going to call the list. So look for that on the honest-wargamer.com. / I'm done. Right, my big question is because I'm looking at the pair of you, I think you two are a bit tired. Are you okay to do your rundown, Nathan? Or, no, it's okay. If it's a bit late, we can just save it to next week.
It's time. Well,
it's nearly 10 o'clock, 3 hours.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
I can do it, yeah.
Do you think you'd be more prepped and more energetic next week?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's in my head, but yeah.
Then we're going to write it down. I don't trust that process. We're going to go for a writing down system. Yeah.
I've got the story lined up.
It's there. It's already there. Let's do it. I want to do it.
Let's do a teaser. Let's start this week with just the story, and then next week, and everyone will be with bated breath. I can't wait for the rest of the.
Let's ask the guys. Do you want us to do the rundown or not? Don't know why I look at the chat when I'm doing that.
Look at the camera.
Who wants to hear a squig rundown, and who wants us to pack up?
Also, 15 hex wraiths and some black coaches. Pretty easy to do if you just spray it white and nihil oxide the armor. If you want to try it out. Yes.
Such a hobby hero.
Story at least. First Breaking Swing says do it. Yas Queen says El Nagato. Come on then, Dave. Let's go.
What does El Nagato mean?
I'm ready.
Good.
I'm getting pumped. It's terrible for audio, but thanks, John.
I'm pumped.
Okay, let's go.
I don't give a fuck about
Run it down, Nathan. What do we do in a rundown? First thing.
Story!
Yes! Nathan.
The model's great. But, okay, squig hoppers. So, once upon a time, when fed a prepared brew of puff gut balls and hop splatter fungus.
Puff gut balls?
Yes. Puff gut balls and hop splatter fungus.
Yeah.
Cave squigs bloat up with gastric gases that afford them a surprising amount of lift.
Wait, hold on. They fart?
No.
No, they got trapped wind.
They got trapped wind.
Okay.
Hello.
They eat some food and that gives them gas, and they can't fart, so they float.
They float a little bit.
Is this real?
Yeah.
This is the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
The story is, wait, I had ghosts in a coach and a vampire and you're taking the piss. You've got a farty ball bag.
Yes.
What?
And my story
That's
is
another
already
story.
better than
No,
yours.
my story was
Fuck
way
you
better. I
and
had
your
like
story.
Let's hear it
picture
for
of a
farty
vampire.
ball bags.
This is a ridiculous story.
My missus loves a farty ball bag.
All wargamers. So all squigs are wargamers, is this what we're saying? Jess, come here.
Well,
Gorgeous.
this uncomfortable experience also makes them especially ill-tempered and ferocious. Which is why, even more surprisingly, the craziest of grots choose to ride these bouncing orb beasts into battle. No one is sure which maniac first decided to try riding a squig, but countless of grots have since been... New page. Oh fuck, it's gone. I'm so good at this. But countless grots have since been devoured for their troubles. The luckiest, or the most deranged, managed to hang on, however, and by dint of their suicidal determination, Moonclan scraps gained their use of some remarkably effective cavalry.
Okay. All right. So this is
That's
like
not all the story.
We've not finished yet.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You had so many words.
I
I'm
did.
allowed a few.
All right,
But
go on
squig
then.
hoppers are held in awe by the majority of Moonclan grots, who gather around to hear their largely fictional tales of daring do.
Fictinational.
Fictititional.
Fictional. Yeah.
Tales of daring do, whenever the chance arises. In truth, all the hoppers really do is cling on for their dear life, trying to steer their erratically bouncing steeds into the foe, where the creature's snapping jaws and ripping talons make short work of anyone unlucky enough to stand in their way.
Holy bananas.
Thumbs up.
I've got so many questions. So it's a farty ball bag that they just sit on. and they don't ever do much based on the narrative. They don't actually have any impact in the story or actually do any damage because they're constantly lying about their
just
successes.
said it does loads of
There's
stuff.
fictitious stories.
So just said really effective cavalry.
No, this
Those
is like
are the words that I
this
said.
is like everyone who owns a Ferrari jacket, but doesn't own a Ferrari.
It's nothing
Who's
like that at
apart
all.
from Joey off Friends?
All of my references are based on 90s TV shows and current memes.
Is that because you had to sit in a room on your own, making your own fun?
Yeah, all the time.
As we discussed.
I give this one shaggy meme out of 0. I dislike the story.
Well, there isn't a lot of story.
No.
How can you come up with? I think it's very descriptive in what they've got.
Okay. All right. Also, it's a new command in the Twitch chat. ! 40 ball bag brings up a farty ball bag is always miles better than a dead person in a silly stagecoach. Fuck! Why have I given moderation to the Twitch chat and not to myself?
They're not wrong.
Farty ball bags.
All right, farty ball bags. Okay. Omega Havoc gives it the thing, and Press on Prescott's patented charge of the fart brigade. This could be your army list. Yeah. OJ's just coming up with the names.
Ah, yeah, charge of the fart brigade. If you're against Dwarden and they've got cannons.
Flame cannons.
Into the Valley of Death rode the farty ball bags.
John, will you write us a poem? Is that okay? Twitch chat, if you would like to write a poem about the charge of the farty ball bags.
Yeah, somebody on Twitch chat put a link to Charge of the Light Brigade, but change Light Brigade for farty ball bags all the way through.
Please and thank you. Go on then, Nathan. What do you think of the models?
The old models were great fun.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few of them.
So these are squig hoppers.
Yeah.
Not Boingrot Bounders.
Yeah.
The new fancies.
Yeah. But and then I've since been building the Boingot Brounders, but I've been looking at the Squig Hopper models as well. And
are they not the same kit?
They're great. Yeah, it's the same kit.
Yeah.
But different. Yeah.
Dr. Vulcan says, by the way, I think that his life would be just fine without that poem being made. She's like a red rag to John's bull.
Yeah. Everyone that wants to see the poem, follow Warhammer _AOS on Twitter.
Omega Havoc is also sent you a kiss, Nate. There we go.
You.
Go on, then carry on.
Cool. So
the models, what do we think?
The models, I like them.
1000% lacquer.
Yeah, because I built Squig Herd and they were okay. I was like, well, I quite like these little squigs. And then I built them and they were much bigger. And they were like, these are good sized squigs.
That's because they're slightly bloated.
Yeah, it's because they're farty ball bags.
Yeah.
I hate that you two are getting on so much about it. Because they're bigger, right? It's like, they are bigger.
They are bigger. They
fart.
look better. And I thought I'd hate them because they're like, actually, serious point, where they're attached to the base is quite... It's like you or Jet.
This is Jet the dog has become a farty ball bag.
Some of them are like stood on long, thin mushrooms and stuff like that. And I was like, I hate that because they've just tried to elevate them, etc. But when you build them, they look good,
great.
don't they?
Yeah, the new
really
ones
good.
are so good.
Yeah, get them, everybody. Build them. Build.
Really,
Not
really.
fucking dead horses. Boring.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, good. Good. I'm so happy. All my death bros out there, we got this.
And you can change all the faces as well. So
can you? I haven't built the new kits.
So you've got so many different ways you can build them. So each squig, you can change all the faces.
Of the squig?
Yeah.
That's a pretty serious...
And
yeah, I just
you
made
can
it
even
up.
change
I went wild.
how their tonsils look and everything.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Some of them have got like a little centipede thing sticking out instead of tonsils. Some of them have got a proper tonsil. Some of them have had a tonsillectomy. There's no tonsil.
Why were you concentrating so much on the tonsils?
Because they're individual bits.
Yeah.
The tonsils.
You get lots of little tonsil
You
bits.
two are fucking making this up. And
No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Real.
But I didn't care about
Someone's
mine.
sitting there going, there aren't any tonsils. They're looking inside their box. Being like, you're an idiot.
They definitely are. They look a bit like vulvas. So look for them.
No.
Right, okay, I disagree. But, all right, I don't think that's real. I'm going to have
No,
to...
it's true.
Okay.
I promise.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So the models, yes. I like the old squig hoppers. So
The old ones are great. The new ones are even more lacquer.
okay, even more lacquer. All right, John, you liking them?
They're good, yeah.
All right, nice.
I didn't on the picture, but I do in real life.
Okay. All right. While we let's talk about the rules then. While we go for a quick check, Cam. Carry on.
Cool. So they are movement 3d6. which is sweet. I think that is their
Luke Barwick, thank you for purchasing a Bobo ticket.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Keep
talking to my computer.
That's where the strength is, really.
Go on, carry
They've
on.
got 2 wounds each and a 6-up save, so not much of a save.
And bravery super low.
Bravery 4.
So they are almost the least brave.
It's all right. We're not here to have a bravery contest.
We are here to have a bravery
Fuck
contest.
you. No.
My guys were bravery 10.
I've got 2 wounds. Fuck you.
I had 12
I
wounds.
don't care.
Yeah.
Right, and then in a fight, so they've got the dude riding on the back has got a slitter or a slapper, 1 inch range, 1 attack, 5/5.
A slapper?
Yeah, no,
You love slapping things, don't you?
I do with my squig riders. It's
Yeah.
great.
Did you one time slap a tank to death?
One time I slapped a star drake and left a handprint on its arse. It's great.
Also, just got to quickly read something out here, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Mick Wendell says, here's a limerick for you and your farty ball bag. There once was a loon boss named Nathan, whose gloomspite gits had no faith in. He brought in a Troggoth hag, but she fought with the farty ball bag, and she just became a mate for him.
Sounds great.
And also, Mohammed Liam would like to start a new GoFundMe for a Hoover for the office, which is rude, but accurate.
Rude?
No, that's really fair.
I'm in trouble when I get home because I've got text here with a screenshot of the chat from my missus, and my comment says, how much money to get my arse out?
Yeah.
And my missus has sent that screenshot with a caption saying, how much money to get my tits out? And an exclamation mark. And that means I'm in lots of trouble.
Is that good?
No, that's not a good thing.
Oh, that sounds good.
It is good. She's got great tits.
Okay.
Really good tits. But no, that's not.
And a lovely person.
She is a lovely person attached to those. She'll be in bed by now, darling.
Ward N7, thanks for subscribing.
I love you.
Nathan, sorry, you were saying?
Sorry.
Oh yeah. So the attack. So the rider's got an attack 5/5, no rend, 1 damage.
Yeah. This is the slap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the
rider slaps.
The mount itself has got a 1 inch attack. Well, two attacks, 4s, 3s, with rend 1, doing 1 damage. So yeah, they're not that great in a fight, but they can chuck out a few wounds here and there. But they're not there for the fighting. The unit though has got the fly keyword, which is great.
Squigs now fly, don't they?
Yeah.
But more float.
Floaty, like balloons.
Yeah.
So they're 3d6, so it's super random, but they've gained an extra d6 of movement from before.
So they move 3d6.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's pretty
fast.
sweet. And then that can be buffed. So if you take them in one of the formations, you can re-roll that 3d6. Which is
Squig Stampede.
I think that's the one. So it's the smaller one of the 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Squig Stampede. Yeah, that's the one. So going back to the hoppers. I've gone past them. Just going through their abilities. So the main ability, the most important one, is that they can fly. The Squig Hopper gets a +1 to hit if he's the boss, whatever. And then boing, boing, boing. The Squig Hoppers can cause considerable damage by bouncing on top of their foes as they hurtle across the battlefield. So jump up and down on your head as they're going along. After the unit has made a normal move, pick an enemy unit and roll the dice for each model in this unit that passed across a model from that unit. And for each 4-up, they take a mortal wound. So as they bounce over you, they kick you in the head, give you a mortal wound.
Which is decent,
Yeah.
especially with that movement.
Yeah. So they're super fast. So I played against them the other day. Nick had them.
Yeah.
And obviously, so the 3d6. So now Gloomspite have got a glut of command points. So you've got your 3d6. You've got your
auto run.
So you can run. So you can roll the dice. If it's not a 6, there's a good chance you can turn it into a 6. So that's 6 plus 3d6. And then quite often the loon boss on the cave squig is around, and he'll have generated his command ability, so it's +3. So it's 9 plus 3d6 that they're moving.
Wow.
So that's super fast. If there's the light of the moon around, they can then charge. But they're not really there for charging. I see them more as objective grabbers or just zoning out little areas of board, or just, going and threatening small characters like hag queens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If they fly over her, kick her in the head.
What, basically on 25 mils?
No, on 32s.
Okay, but it's still a small footprint, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't see you taking them in units other than 5s, really. Not these ones. They're not. They're just little small. They are battle line if as well.
Yeah.
If your loon boss is on a mangler squig or on a squig. And yeah, they're just so good. And the way Nick played them, which is the way I would recommend them
to be played
most of the time, is keeping them back behind your main, and then once the fight develops, then they can then whiz out and then start trying to grab objectives that aren't being contested, and that's just so fast. I was really impressed by their speed, and also the little kicking of you in the head as they fly over. They kicked quite a few characters in the head and just blinked off 3
mortal wounds here and there.
Yeah.
Which the game is a little bit dangerous now in that, because of the endless spells, because there sometimes can just be like D3 mortal wounds just happening from here and there. So your characters can sometimes be a little less safe than you originally planned.
If you can drop 3 wounds onto something and then put a spell through them, or else, the next turn they're going to get kicked in the head again, or else just charge them. If they're under the light of the moon, they'll then be able to charge that character. If they've only got 1 wound left, there's a good chance they'll bite that wound off of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So they're just such good little harassing unit. I think, and so they're 90 points. So they're 10 points more than they were before.
This is for a unit of 5.
Yeah, and that's just.
So was that 10 wounds?
Yeah, so it's going to be 10 wounds. Obviously, if anybody concentrates on them, they'll probably get blown away because they've only got that 6-up save. 10 wounds though with a 4-up. Yeah.
They're not massively dissimilar. Well, they're probably more useful than skinks, because skinks are great for running and grabbing.
Yeah.
But at least these have got a bit of fight to them, and they can run and grab, potentially take something out, or they're just a great little screen.
Yeah.
So
they're pretty cheap, but they're mobile, and the fly keyword is so good.
It's 10 wounds for 90 points is quite decent.
Yeah.
I know it's only a 6-up save, and if you kill 1, probably they'll bunch of running away.
Yeah.
But that's quite good.
Yeah.
That's quite good, and quite nice as well, because like in your priority system, like if there's like a loon boss or mangler squigs, or just mangler squigs, or even grots, like even a unit of stabbers, they're your focus in an army for going and killing. So you don't think, well, I won't kill those 5 little fellows. It's not really a big stress.
Yeah, most of the time they're not going to be a target because you're worrying about the mangler squigs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at buffs, so obviously we've mentioned the loon boss on the cave squig, on the giant cave squig. He gives them that +3 buff, and heroes can give them that, turning the run into a 6 just to make them super fast.
Yeah,
super more fast. Then you've got the bad moon gives them the run and charge, or else you can cast Squiglure onto them if you really wanted them to charge in, which is one of the spells from the lore of the bad moon. Then you've also got the command ability from the loon boss on the mangler squig, giving them +1 to wound. So the riders would then be wounding on 4s and the squigs on 2s.
Okay.
So there's those things, and the formations.
And what's the max unit you have? 15?
Probably more than that, actually. I would have thought 12s, maybe. I'll tell you right.
They come in 6s?
They come in 5s, not 12s. Probably.
No, I think it's 15 is the max.
Yeah, you reckon?
I'll double check. I'll check for you while you carry on.
I can tell you right now they are. Squig hoppers 20.
Oh, okay. So you can have 20 of them.
20.
Do you get a discount for having 20?
No.
Oh, okay.
So 90 points, and battle line if the army general is has a giant cave squig or a mangler squig as a mount. So even the Skarsnik model can make them battle line.
Okay.
Because that counts as a mount.
Oh, right, yeah, it does.
So.
But for command traits, no, for traits.
Yeah, what's with the with guy? What's his command?
So his command ability is Mortal Wounds, but that's only on Moon Clan.
So I'm not sure why you would take him.
Yeah. But he would make them battle line. So if you wanted to cheat
just
battle
fill
line
it up for 90
points, yeah.
So you can concentrate on as many Mangler Squigs as possible.
Yeah. And then the formation that they can go in. The Squig Rider Stampede is great if you're going to go with Squig Army.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, get the command point and the extra artifact, but gives you the reroll that determines your move characteristic. So it just makes their move a lot more consistent.
Yeah.
I think that's really important because you can really do some shit rolls.
The variance is like, that sucks, right? Like when you can't manage
it's
your
just
army.
when you need it.
Although that's useful against your opponent because they also can't manage your army. You're both like, what is going to happen?
What's happening?
But so you can reroll, so you can get pluses to wound and you can reroll the distance it runs.
Yeah,
which is quite useful.
So the other thing is then if you take it in the bigger formation, the Squig Launch, which includes a Squig Stampede. So then in the light of the moon, so while they're under the light of the moon, the unit is eligible to fight in the phase if it is within 6 of an enemy and can pile in 6.
Wow, piling 6 really big.
Yeah, and being able to activate within 6 is great.
Yeah.
So again, I mean they're not
especially
really
with the fly keyword.
Yeah, they're not really there for combat. But if you like I say, keep saying, fly over somebody, kick them in the head, like a support character. Sit outside of 3 of them, like 4 inches away. Do all the important combats, then they can just pile and take that last little bite out of that
character.
That hag or the Medusa or whatever it is that you don't fancy hanging about.
All right, nice.
That Demon Smith.
Demon Smith.
Yeah, just
I've
take
got
them
4
out.
of them now, so
you won't have after they've been kicked in the head a few times by farty bull bags.
Yeah. But I think you're right. I think having them in smaller units because
sorry.
No. Like you said, I think what's really good. Obviously, there's usually a priority like list. Yeah. You go, I need to focus on that. So you don't really think, go charge those fine little dickheads, and then they tend to just go off. And they can generally be like game winning in some situations.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking to various people, so where things that actually win the game are these little mobile units that will go like the heart renders. So there'll be a big army with big blocks of snakes or witches. They're busy duffing stuff up, but then it's the heart renders that zap around the side and nick that objective. They turn it from a minor win into a major win. Yeah, and this is that sort of unit that's going to...
It's also what's the problem? If you've got like a big 300-point unit or a 400-point combat unit, right? You're like, yes, right? And then you want that to go and fight something bigger than it or something else. But if you've got 5 of these guys on the objective, you're like, well, actually, I do need to go and get the objective, but the only thing I'm clearing off is these 5 guys. Is 90 points of guys. That's actually really, really impactful. I think that's what the heart renders do best, is when they drop on an objective and you go, I have to go fight them now.
But then you expose yourself to the countercharge as well. And not only do you do that, but then you expose that unit to a countercharge.
Yes, which is a setup on your part, right? So I agree. So these guys can be used as bait as much as anything else. So they're going to be so they're used to control your opponent's movement. Just by being where they need them not to be. Yeah. So I think the rerolling movement is actually probably a really key factor to that army, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I mean, so if somebody gives you the first turn, but you don't want to commit too far forward because you're just going to get hammered by a load of shooting, or you're going to get hammered by big blocks of witches coming flying across, then you can just send these 2 little dudes out, go and grab those central objectives, and then you just prepare your army to countercharge. So you're just saying, all right then, you go and kill these 180 points. They're scoring me gold. If you don't deal with them, they will score me gold again. If you do deal with them, you've got to have committed something, and then I can
countercharge,
plow into them and give them a sort
you can use them to fight off. Yeah. Tristan Grace says he likes how sneaky you are with always setting up that counter. There you go. It's a good tactic. I agree. John, what do you rate the rundown?
An 8 squigs out of 10 squigs.
Nice. Nathan, do you rate your own rundown?
1,000 squigs.
Because it involves squigs, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 squigs.
9 out of 10 squigs.
Because squigs are just the best. Thank you very much for doing that. That's very cool of you.
The good thing is also, because you can run minimum 5s, you only need 1 box of them. Because they come in 10s in the box.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
So you can get 1 box for 2 units.
That's cool. Especially when it's small MSU units.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really good.
That is attractive.
Well, John and Nathan, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You guys have been wonderful. Really appreciate it. John, thanks very much for coming on the show as always.
Thank you for having me. It's been very nice.
Nathan, thanks as always. If you guys are interested in Age of Sigmar stuff, don't forget on Tuesday we've got the stats show. Wednesday night this week, if you listen to the podcast back or anything, me and Nikos, the first Ager himself, are playing a live stream game, Seraphon versus the Legion of Asgore, which is going to be really fun. So that'll be this weekend. Twitch chat, you guys have been amazing. Everyone on YouTube.
When's that game again?
That's this Wednesday coming.
On Wednesday.
During
the day.
Wednesday night.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday night. So if you're free, you can come and do some commentating if you want to do some shit talking. I imagine you're not. But we'll talk about that another time. Thank you to everyone on the Twitch chat. You guys are amazing. Hellstorm Gaming, how much of that game will be dead silence? Probably none of it, because we're a professional live streaming outfit as opposed to amateurs. Everyone on Twitch, you've been cool. Everyone who watches the show and listens to the podcast. So if you listen to the podcast, hope you've enjoyed it. Get yourself a cup of tea. Get up from where you are. Just go have a nice time. You're going to have to find something else to listen to, and I'm sorry about that. We've got the stat show tomorrow, and then we've got in 2 weeks' time. So that would be the weekend of, if you guys want to book it off, get some beers in, get some cool treats. The 23rd and 24th of February, we'll be doing the live streaming from the Sheffield Slaughter. So an Age of Sigmar match play tournament, which will be cool. The team, we've got John Scrivens, we've got Nathan, we've got Mr. Chucklebutt. He's going to be doing all of the rows. He's going to be bringing the hot table goss. I like it when Adam goes out there and finds out the gossip. That's always the best. And as always, thank you to everyone on Twitch and Patreon. If you ever want to subscribe on Patreon, we would massively appreciate it, because everything we do is for free. So everything you're listening to, everything we put out is free. If you subscribe for $10, that's basically the same as 2 pots of paint from Games Workshop. And if you subscribe for $25, that would only be the same as buying a box of models a month. But it makes us be able to make better shows, which would be really, really cool.
Always cool.
Yeah, and we would hugely appreciate that, because we plan to make some really big strives in the hobby, so you guys would be supporting that, so that'd be nice. Anything to add, you two?
You want to say anything more, John? No, me neither.
Don't think so.
Also, don't forget on Wednesday you can join John doing his Twitch Patreon drawings. He'll be drawing some pictures of some people on Wednesday.
He's going to be drawing me as a blood angel.
Oh, nice.
This week.
All right,
so
good.
Watch out for that.
So yeah, you guys are also great. We'll see you soon. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for hanging out and always being honest wargamer.
Thanks, man.